That's okay. Introduce your guest.
Yes, this is
Sorry, this is Brittany, also known as Truthberry, also known as Recent Tartarian.
Hello,
Yes.
Brittany.
Hi. I can't believe I'm sitting with this panel. I am like,
wow. You sit next to Zertis every day.
Yeah, it's a little different.
So.
Disappeared.
Did I have an echo?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No,
I didn't do sound checks or anything. But yeah, I was just watching. It was funny. I was doing I have echo on myself. Hold on a second. Weird. That has not happened.
Burroughs Cave.
Yes, I am.
Oh,
I am subscribed.
Those are the Michigan.
Am I echoing? No, but I told people on my premiere to come over and watch your show because I was premiering an older, really bad early video I did on volcanoes with Andreas like 3 or 4 years ago. And then I realized there's other streams going on. So I was like, if anyone's in here, they have a good talk at Stuff Beags right now. Because I was randomly, I'm like, oh, that's right, it's Saturday. Maybe there's other streams. And I jumped in earlier when Cambell, you were streaming and you had a really old Tartarian map. And I posted it in our like group chat because it was so, I mean, it was just gravy all over it. And there was the library or books were stored and it was linked to Tartary. And that was really interesting. And then I jumped in here and you're talking about the viaducts. And that's also kind of connected to some of my research in volcanism and questions I had. So I just asked Bernie if sometime I could talk to you two and ask you questions. I didn't want to disrupt the flow. You had a great stream going, and he's like, jump in now, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So anyway, back
to like the president.
We don't know what we're doing.
Go.
Yeah,
it always looks like you do. So
no,
come and give us some structure. We need structure.
We need the balance of the feminism. I'm like,
we need a woman to show us the way.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, definitely. The balance is wonderful. What
so the
we're trying to do here is I call it the mud flood flash mob, and the idea is that basically any time that we're interested in just going live and saying, hey, I'm going live, let's go live for whatever, and just anybody can start this thing and we just go live, and if we're available we jump on, and there's no structure to it. It's just like, hey, let's just chat. And
and the flashing is optional, by the way.
Biggs, we'll have to set it up on Cambell's their account there, so we'll add your channel and we'll be able to go live on all the channels, as it's already got Zertis's and Brittany's Recent Tartarian hooked up to it.
I know, right? I'm going to go on one night and just stream on everyone's channel and do something really inappropriate.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Suiciding the community.
Take me off.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm going to hold you all hostage.
You were asking about viaducts. What would you like to know about viaducts?
Well, it's just fascinating. So I was studying like volcanoes and nuclear power, and then they were building a bunch of nuclear power plants on volcanoes, and like Erebus was interesting, and I had these documents, and so I started thinking I was kind of looking at that and using them for energy, which they do, and then controlling and operating them. And then I was like, wait a minute, what if volcanoes could they possibly be buried power structures? And there was some petrification, instant petrification after, and a lot of them were synced to chimney, the towers, and the setups of different power plants. So I was doing a lot of overhead view and the tracking, a lot of triangular volcanism at the exact same time of day, same depth. It was always 10 meters. And they were in these triangular patterns. And I'm like, that's the exact same time. And so I started doing that. And it was just the amount of mud or anything that would take to bury a structure like that. And then you're talking about viaducts, and you're talking about, cities below cities that are buried. So it's just a lot of your evidence was helpful in kind of culminating like this. There could be that much, or some of them could just be storage facilities that had waste, because a lot of them have uranium by them. And a lot of rare earth elements are found at volcanoes sites. And so a lot of people don't understand when I even bring this up, how you could like bury it, that like a whole power structure, but a lot of power plants are already buried underground. And so if you have a mud flood, and it comes in, it varies like the chimneys. And then there's petrification. You have like a set of 3 stacks that look like volcanoes and what could be below that. So, and I hadn't seen any of these old movies that were, that have like Jules Verne. There's so many movies that I've watched with Andreas. I'm like, that looks like my theory. They're operating a volcano from below. And so I was.
Let me interrupt one second. About 15 years ago, I went gem mining in the North Carolina mountains. And I wanted to go where you shake the rocks through the sifter, and I went to this one place and it was crap. What they do is they would add little gems for the kids in there. I was like, this is not what I want. So I went looking for a real one, and I found this real one. And when I went there, the guy he actually mined and brought it down out of the mine every day and would let people go through it. And it was mainly a sapphire mine. And so I did that. And I got to talking to the guy, and we had a real good rapport. And I started talking to him about orgonite. And he was really interested in that because he was a real gem hound. And then I said, the next day I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to make that guy some orgonite. So I made him about 80 discs of orgonite. And I took it to him. And I said, I really appreciate you taking your time talking to me about the gems and everything. And I just thought you would really enjoy playing with this. And I gave him this orgonite and, just gifted it to him. He said, would you like to go gem mining? And I said, yeah. And so he took me up in his mine, and I brought a sapphire out about the size of a fist. And he was telling me about the mine that it used to be a volcano, and that he thinks that there's diamonds in that mine. And that's what he's really looking for. And the gem mine is actually just his way of funding his operation. But this mine is also the mine where Tiffany went and got all the formica out of for the Tiffany glass. That's all I got.
That's mind blowing. So you're thinking, like, what if that was either a fuel or something that was used? It could be remnants, but it could have been stuff that got buried that was used for power, and power that was cyclic. And so you have cyclic volcanoes that erupt every, on certain times, like every half hour, every day. And so and I'm not saying that there's people that have blanket theories, like all volcanoes
just
are
like geysers too, though, right? Like,
it's you have to look at it from overhead and then try and imagine all the layers gone of flood, what it could have been, and getting overhead views of salt mines, hydropower, all the different types to figure out which of these systems that are buried now were interconnected power grids. And you have like volcanic peninsulas, provinces, and the Ring of Fire map is, whenever you look it up, it's always misleading, because even like the basic Mercator map that you see in all the classrooms, like that's the Ring of Fire is not even on the Mercator, it's flipped and inverted. And so if you ever look, if you pull it up, the Ring of Fire map is always on a map that has the west and the east and the east, and like a flip Mercator map. So when you put it on like the map that the United Nations uses, it's like an outside ring. And that's also interesting because it's not just within, the Pacific. So there's a lot of Atlantic. I don't even know where they say it is anymore.
I was how when you're watching YouTube shorts and you flip through videos and it shows you all different kinds of things. I was flipping through the other day and I showed this into the old Cambell. Has she been has she been invited to the research group?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, Brett, we should
vote. I say we.
I
thought it was a boys' club, man. Come on.
I don't need to join. No, I can't believe I'm here. This is so exciting. I'm trying to not have my voice wavering. You guys are like, oh my god.
Well, the volcanoes too.
So I was watching YouTube shorts and I'm flipping through, and I shared this with the group the other day. But Eddie Griffin, the comedian, popped up. And he was going on and on about the pyramids. And I was like, why is this fool talking about pyramids? And then I started listening and like thinking, wait a minute, he actually is thinking like pretty deep about this. And then all of a sudden he pops off with, this is what caught me. He said, yeah, and they had viaducts going to the pyramid. I'm like, back up. What?
Crazy.
I thought
Someone else
that
talking
was
about it. Like, how did he get to that point? You know, because you're like kind of the
Sorry,
one to bring
Julia,
that to the
didn't see you
forefront.
there. Welcome.
I refaced myself as Eddie Griffin today, which is kind of another synchronicity. As I came into your chat, I'm wearing dinosaur earrings going through my ears they're very random. And when I popped in, and so you're talking about dinosaurs, and that was the only thing I caught of the last conversation. So that's why I didn't want to just totally jump into something else.
Know that
I'm sure
there is, y'all will remember there was where you had the Nile, and there's the story where they took the parts and the whatever from the Nile to the Great Pyramids for construction. And I was wondering if maybe what they're talking about, the viaduct, was the road that they used to transfer these materials. Now, I don't know. I'm just saying this is what this guy was talking about. And it really caught me off guard. I shared it with the group and everybody else was caught off guard. So we don't know what the hell's going on. And we have another guest. Hello.
Hello, Julia.
Welcome.
Oh, Julia, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you, yeah.
I do that all the time.
Right.
Let's see. I'm trying to get my glasses clean.
But volcanoes, and they all say the underground volcano passages or ventways, but really it's these massive, like, I think they're like hundreds of miles of underground tunnels coming from all the volcanoes and old volcanoes.
Oh, the lava tubes.
Lava tubes.
Yeah.
Magma chambers are also in size. If you look at some of the magma chamber sizes, and ACLO, the natural nuclear reactor there that they found, the dimensions they're really grand in scale, but if you scale them down, it's almost like a superpower structure. And there were 16 of these allegedly in ACLO, in Africa, the natural uranium mines, but there's only one left for them to research. And if you look into Edleed Scanlon and Sweet 16 and his decoding A Good Book for Every Home, I feel like that's somehow linked to this site where all the uranium was taken from these natural reactors. And they have a bunch of people explaining them. It's pretty,
where it's like, they say it's a multi-million-year-old nuclear reactor thing.
And they say there's one, but if you do the research, there's 16. And there was a volcanologist, a French volcanologist, I should know his name. Forgive me. I'll get back to it. But
there you go.
Hi. Okay.
We got you there.
Welcome. We have Julia.
Welcome.
Julia.
Hey guys, if you ever have trouble with StreamYard in any way, if you'll drop out and come back in, sometimes that fixes it. StreamYard's weird.
Okay.
StreamYard is weird. It thinks it's a woman, but it's
Welcome,
a man.
Julia.
So do you think these volcanoes, are you talking that you think that they were power plants, like, or is it
some
like, okay?
I think some are like Mike
nuclear?
Pereira waste piles that, or storage. So if you have something stored that's radioactive and contained and water seeps in, you're going to have an explosion. But if you have a nuclear power plant that's set, or any type that's set to function and it's below the ground, and if they had more advanced power, it could have been set, for who knows how long if you're using diamond batteries. That's thousands of years. They're saying that you can power something. So if that got somehow buried and is self-sufficient until self-sustaining and non-destructive until something maybe does seep in or leak in.
Overheated or something, or
But the submarine volcanoes.
That the volcanoes run on the way they tell us. I think there's something else going on there. I don't know what. But
submarine volcanoes. Over millions in the ocean, and they, if you look at those now, they're drilling them for different minerals, and some of them, they literally have things called chimneys, and you'll see different colors of gases coming from the smokers of submarine volcanoes. And I'm not having parabolia here where I'm like, that looks like a chimney. It looks like a structure of certain types, and so I think there's so many different times possibly with reset and the different types that were used that they could be interconnected. And so I've been tracking the different types, and I'm telling you, it's 2 years, and they have subcompartmentalized volcanoes to where you'll go like bonkers, trying to understand and comprehend how they're all differently labeled.
This
And
needs to
you can
be
call anything a
discussed with-
volcano. There's like the gas from the ground. That's a
We
volcano.
have to bring it up with Dutch Synths, and I need to get Dutch Synths on Michael. Long overdue. But today, his latest video, all he could upload was like a 45-minute or 45-second clip from his cell phone showing that his power had gone out for the 112th time, or 120th or 112th, one or the other, while he was trying to do an upload, and like his battery bank powering his router just to like upload this 45-second video. And then like 3 hours later, YouTube took down his little video as well. And it's like, it's completely been erased. And then it was like 12 hours before that, it was his video, his previous one that's still up, and it was showing him from like Twitter not being able to access his videos on YouTube anymore, and like it being censored like that way. And it's just like, oh god.
Man.
And all this guy does is accurately forecast future earthquake and volcano eruptions.
I know, right? You think the Weather Channel would be like offering him money, but instead they're trying to shut him down. It's like, what?
Julia, this format tonight is something new we're trying. I call it Mud Flood Flash Mob. It's something that me and Cambell talked about a while ago, where we just jump on and we just, talk about what's on our minds. So at any time, jump in, talk about whatever you want. It doesn't have to be Mud Flood. That doesn't matter. We're just free flowing.
Tablets. Talk about the tablets.
Just free flowing, mud flooded.
But
no pun intended.
They were talking tablets before Julia came in.
You guys were talking about tablets?
Yeah, tell them about a little bit about your background and what you're doing with the tablets and your.
Okay, so there's this ancient tablet. It's got Proto-Sumerian on it. It's got cuneiform on it, and Wyatt Earp. They say Wyatt Earp found it.
Right there.
Wyatt Earp. Yeah, Wyatt Earp gifted it to his mining partner and his best friend, and he left it. Who was his pallbearer at his funeral, and he left it in his family, and now his relative has it, and they've been trying to have it dated and like gone to museums and everything, but it predates textbook history, and it was found in Arizona. And so there's a guy who specializes in cuneiform working on it, and a guy who specializes in Proto-Sumerian and decoding stuff and translating it, and they're working on it. And I got approached, and they had me because I'm a remote viewer, and so I remote viewed it, and they only told me about one side of the tablet, where I did some pre-sessions on it, and I was able to see things that were on the other side of the tablet. So they were like, oh, okay, like we were skeptical, but like we want you part of this project to, and so it's just interesting, the stuff that's popping up because of the third language, that as it's like Vincan, Tartarian, how you decode something of that, and diving into this project is just fascinating, because Rex Bear from the Leak Project did a couple shows on it, and they're calling it the Tablet of Inanna, and there's beings on it. And what?
Inanna?
Yeah, they're calling it the Tablet of Inanna.
Does that have any connection with Anu or An, the sun god from Sumeria?
Well, yeah, a connection. Yeah, Inanna is like the Queen of Heaven.
Rex goes into that actually quite a bit, doesn't he?
Okay, all right.
And yeah. So you guys were talking about tablets? What were you talking about?
Yeah, how do you? If you don't mind, I'm trying to look it up right now. How do you spell it?
So when you're into alternative research, when people are like,
tablets, and then I asked him what those tablets were, and he couldn't. He gave me 15 names of 15 different kinds of tablets.
Well, so there are 15 different sites that videos and projects Terry Carter has done.
Well, Terry Carter's supposed to do a show on this tablet as well. We've been talking to him, and he already. Terry Carter has already done one with JB, and they've already done a show on this tablet.
Nice. And have you got pictures and stuff of this tablet?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we should probably do a show on it then, and you can show us all.
What's the guy's name that goes around and he does the mineral checking? It's on a History Channel or something, and he investigates things like this.
Scott Walter, I think. Unearthed
He's
America.
unearthed that guy. What do you think? Has he looked at that?
He
do a bit,
might
Bernie.
have, and if not, he
What-
should be the
what's in-
one to get on it, and I'll ask Rex.
What's interesting is there's a lot of
Get it on.
professionals that don't want to touch the tablet. It's almost like they won't get funding. You know what I mean? If
Yeah,
they're
no.
attached to some-
Scott
Well,
Walter
more than
is
that,
the
they can
exact
lose their
opposite. He does.
jobs.
He actually has done several videos with Rex on like figuring out these different old pre-Columbus Sumerian like Eastern Orient tablets in America and trying to verify them and whatnot. He's pretty awesome. He'd be the one to get on it. So
The Orient's an interesting name, isn't it?
we should try
Is
to
that where
make
you
that
orient
happen.
yourself from?
Do you mind writing how you spell it, the tablet in the private chat, and then I'll try to bring up a picture of it?
Or I can.
Is it one
Or if
tablet?
you have it.
Oh gosh.
Or
Yeah,
is it
it's
a
one
series-
tablet. It's one tablet. Yeah, but two sides, and it's really small. Like it's like almost like bigger than a matchbook. I have a laminate. Hold on.
Really? So it's more like the Mormon
Wait, hold
style
on, I
ones.
have
They're only a
this, but
couple
this
inch
is like a
big.
sketch. That's it.
That's it.
Oh,
This is
hell
like a-
yeah.
Wait.
Holy
hold on,
glory.
and then-
Oh, that's got
Look,
that
I even
same
laminated-
uniform kind of looking stuff.
we
in
allowed
it.
to see this? Is this
Oh,
like
wow.
This is amazing.
what's that?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
it
I'm
does
letting
look
Jim
Hold it,
come
hold on.
around
Yeah,
now.
let's try it again.
That's all we get.
Yeah, hold that. Yeah, hold it so we can. Wow, it's glared.
There we
There,
go.
that's good.
That is
But
cool.
I have that's because I wanted that, but hold on. But yeah, I could here. Let me. I'll pull up the. I'm like talk about something else. I'll pull up the picture so and
I
I'll
was just going to say, there was a bit of talk about the volcanoes and blah blah. So if you look at what are they called, tailing tip or tailing spill tip from mining, it looks exactly like a volcano. So
Oh,
there is a bit of
I
thought
would
that they
say
might be, yeah.
many are old
Probably.
mines. That a lot of mountains will get labeled volcano or mountain, and it'll change. There's Minnesota's crazy. This is also why viaducts were so interesting to me. We have Wabasha street caves there that are allegedly dug out for prohibition times, and the Wabasha street. Oh, did you find it? We don't have to go into this yet, but let's look at. Are we looking at this? I don't want to dive into viaducts.
Can you open image in new tab, Bernie? It might be bigger. Is that you doing that?
So
Bernie?
you're looking at.
Brian's
okay.
muted. I'm trying to find some of the Father Crespi golden tablets that also look like they have Proto-Sumerian writing on them.
Yeah.
Now they're
as
gone now, right?
comparison.
They got disappeared, right?
Some of them have been refound, apparently.
Oh, interesting.
And that they're also very similar to the tablets of the Mormons, right? And John Smith and all that kind of stuff.
Right. The golden plates, is that what they're
The golden plates, yeah. Because I mean, look at that picture there. They're golden
Right,
plates.
all
Right?
the golden plates, the different golden tablets, literally getting found
And then
everywhere in the
There's
world.
all the stuff that what was his
those
name?
right there
Carl,
were Proto-Sumerian,
is
probably.
it Carl Monk? No.
Yeah.
The guy with all he's got the pyramid that's got like the the stuff that only shows up under ultraviolet.
Oh, that's
Who's that? It's not Carl Monk, is it?
Austrian man.
Yeah, he's Austrian. Yeah, he's got a really thick accent.
Sorry,
Well,
that
that's
comes to me.
crispy right there. Isn't it? It's kind of hard to see. Is that the one on the left? That's crispy.
Klaus Donna.
That's supposed to be Klaus Donna. Yes.
Yes, he's also got a lot of these Proto-Sumerian looking ones from South America and whatnot too.
And yeah, that's Father Crespi in the pictures there. And
Yeah.
see that one up in the top right. I mean, how
Those
European,
Babylonian.
Egyptian, and Babylonian, Sumerian does that look? And that's from South America. And the one below it.
In Ecuador, like it's just why aren't there more? Come on. They don't want
Man,
to
I mean, it's being scraped, eh? I I mean, I'm always giving up on search engines because they're so bloody censored.
Yeah, that's
Pinterest is a really good site.
Pinterest
Just for
literally
general,
good call,
Yeah.
actually.
because they seem to have forgotten to censor Pinterest, so that's good. And don't take that as a
Pinterest
hint.
actually is
YouTube.
like AI that freaking works in your
Yeah, you guys should start some Pinterest pages then.
favor for both.
I actually do have
Yeah,
one.
but I want to follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it out of it?
Why isn't it loading?
I think it's Audodidactic.
Yeah, go to Cambell's.
Go and see.
Pinterest.
Hold on.
I don't even know if I still have my Pinterest. I love that. I was gonna do information tidbits and stuff too, but I haven't as a teacher. Right.
Go to my.
It's also a great place to store your images, right? You know, you store them all there, and then you can't lose them.
See, I just created this. It's my little backup with all the podcasts on a Pinterest. Anywho, where's the golden tablets? Kapoo. Let's find a couple of the good ones. Why isn't it not working?
One of my favorite pastimes is taking a world picture and doing reverse image search.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Reverse image search.
Julia sent
really wild stuff.
Actually, Beags, do you mind sharing and showing how to do a reverse?
But she sent you those images, Bernie, on the astroscopy chat. Just so you know, the astroscopy.
Welcome back to the 1990s, guys. We're learning how to use Pinterest.
I need to.
Let me find something weird to look up.
Oh,
I found a weirder picture. The better it comes out.
They're here.
Let me see. Oh, here's one.
Oh,
she sent them.
Gotta put it back up again.
Oh, Julia sent them to you, Bernie. They're in the astrosophy chat.
I sent you a link to the Terry Carter video. Discussing it.
Okay, that's what I was.
Can you bring them up on your computer, Bern, or have you only got phone?
Ooh, I don't know. It's on through Facebook. I don't have.
Oh, you want me to email it to you?
Yes, please.
Okay.
We will have to send you girls. We were just talking the other day that we need some female input in our little research center.
We need the balance. Exactly.
I have to invite you, and then you can send us stuff over WhatsApp.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna let me present screen. I'll show you how to do that.
Someone wants to know the name of your channel, Julia.
Oh, I don't have a channel.
Oh, there you go. She doesn't have a channel.
I will have a channel. I've been avoiding coming out and talking.
If you want to see Julia, you just have to keep tuning into our channels.
Yeah, or you could go to juliakamman.com, JuliaKamman, and or you can on Instagram is HalleJulia's, like Hallelujah, but it's HalleJulia's.
Nice.
I get it. Most people they call me Haley. I'm like, I'm not Haley.
Yeah, I was trying to. I thought it might be like Hale, like Hale.
All right, here you go, guys. All you do to do a reverse image search is you go to Google Images, and then hit this little icon here with a little camera, and then you upload a file, and then you go to let's see, we find. Okay.
Oh, you can do this with image. Oh, this is how you do image. Cool. Because I know how to search them online, but once you've got them, it's hard to search for them, isn't it?
Now, there's two things going on here. First thing it does is it pulls up this screen here where you have, it'll pull up these cool pictures here on the right, and you get different versions. Now, sometimes it'll bring up different things, like that's a different thing there. Now, then you can go to find image source, and you hit that sucker. And when you go down right here on the bottom, it'll show you different places where that image is sourced from.
So you can find the actual original website.
Exactly. Now, then here's where it gets interesting. I find if you view similar images, this is when it gets weird. Now, this image didn't come up with what I would hope, you know, it would come up with interesting, because this is chickens. I don't know what the hell this is. But when you do this, sometimes it'll bring up some of the weirdest stuff. And you can do research that way. And
oh, because there's a chicken on the very top. Is that what? Okay, that's what it's picked up on.
It could have, yeah. But it's another way to research.
Yeah, that's cool. That's now you've given, like, I was just thinking this morning, I was going through my pictures and I'm just thinking so many of them aren't labeled. How do I find it? And now thanks. I know. Hours of labeling images.
It's aggravating.
It is.
Oh, you know, talking about viaducts, that I have a lot of people contacting me with these really odd stories about their experiences underneath the viaducts in cities all around the world. And I'm collecting these stories and researching as I go. And there's some weird shit going on, y'all.
I want to hear.
Do you have any from St. Paul yet? Because I drive by these caves. It's nuts. The stuff they're covering up.
I've had people contact me about St. Paul and Minneapolis.
If you need any field research, I can get into those street caves. Well, Andreas and I got 86th from there 2 years ago, so we might have to go in disguise. It's a long story, but
it's a matter of getting underneath the streets, because I got very lucky on Atlanta in the fact that they had an actual history of doing this, but most cities don't have any history of it. And so you'll go in and looking for it, and there's zero evidence for it. And then you look at, it's got the same structures as Atlanta in a lot of cities around the world. It's going to take people getting down underneath the streets. And I'm not the guy. I'm not going to.
So interesting you say that.
Getting down with Beags.
I met somebody at we're just chatting at a local establishment, and I've been compiling like a list, and he works on like sewer and stuff in the city in Minneapolis. And I was like, really? I'm actually very interested in this. And so he had seen some just crazy. He's like, you wouldn't believe the stuff I've seen. I ended up having to go, but I have to find his number because I'm like, I might be calling on you in the future. I didn't say that, but I put him in my little, flag to, because you do need access to that stuff.
I've had a guy, he contacted me. He was telling me, I think it was Philadelphia, and he was telling me how they do deliveries, and they come in secret entrances outside the city, and they drive in the underneath the viaduct all throughout the city, and they do their deliveries in these special
there's pictures online
that nobody even knows is there.
And there's like no trespassing. So like even Invergrove Heights, which is a city further south, just south of the cities, it's like it's a weird mining. There's a huge oil rig, pyramid domes, a lot of power structures. But there's these back areas that are like you only see trucks, and then it like disappears off and goes down. And I'm like, what is this? And there's like a boat graveyard that has all these old I don't know, there's just the smaller sailboats and whatnot in this area, and it's just really creepy. And so there is definitely, I think you're right that it's happening in almost every city, because it's got to be the old world,
and
before the reset.
I'm in Laguna Beach, and where I would work out in South Laguna, is the entrance of where they're working on the tunnels beneath Laguna Beach. And most people that live here will own like a $17 million house. They don't even know about the tunnels, and they've been working on them for over a couple of years. And what I found interesting is where I would work out is I was working out outside. I'm like, oh my God, the way that they were getting down into the tunnels was an octagon shaped metal elevator, but they had to use a crane. I have footage of it on my Instagram on HalleJulia's, and they had to use a crane, and that's how the guys get down below. But it's an octagon shaped, and how far down that must go. And that's like what we're in the year 2023, and this is your best way to get down under these tunnels to work on them. You know what?
But back in 2008, I had a chance meeting of a trucker, and we sat and talked all night because he knew he was awake, and he was telling me what he knew, and I was telling what I knew, and he was I brought up the underground tunnels, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I have a special pass for those." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he showed me this special pass, this identification card that they use to go under there's tunnels that travel all around the United States, and they travel with these trucks. There's an entire road system under the United States these guys are using. It's the entire US.
They told that they can't talk about it. Is it like an NDA, like a trucker signs an NDA where they can't discuss that they're driving in these, or do they think it's normal?
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to tell me this.
Okay, so they know that it's like privy knowledge.
Actual identification, and it was really cool. But
is there a brand of truckers, or like a they have the Army Corps engineers? Do they have like the trucker corps of like some division that gets this knowledge, or is it just by happenstance? So who your shipping is?
Was a regular trucker. Matter of fact, when I met him, his truck was full of carpets. He hauled all kinds of things.
It's kind of creepy.
Carpet hauler. I do. All that carpet? You have to check. I know someone that did. That might talk about it too. Ran trucks and trucking. That is borderline awake, and I wonder if they would talk about that.
It's
good
not
to know
every trucker, but it's certain truckers have the ability to do these runs underneath, and you can actually see videos. I don't know if you can now, but at one point you could find videos on YouTube of people taking videos of these underground runways.
And what are they shipping, or what's the cargo, or shipping?
Everything.
Anything. It's like Amazon, like any type of thing. It's not like your uranium manufacturing plants.
I think it's a little bit of probably military, but it's also probably them shipping things so they can get things around the country without being locked in traffic like everybody else.
So not food or anything, not anything that are practical.
And avoiding the law and all that. There's probably a lot of contraband.
Avoiding the law, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, no, I've seen that as well. And they have like these big like warehouse places, and so that they can turn around and stuff where in the middle of them. It's
these are 2-lane highways. They're
like highways. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's kind of like though, if you look at the
and we've got up here, man, we can't even get a pothole.
There's a cable array too on the ocean floor, and there's different variations of it, and that is also linked to a lot of volcanism and not just internet and telegrams. If you look into that and Woods Hole and what that used to be, or at some point we should pull up the volcano app and I can show you and ask you questions, because you all would know a lot more about what I'm showing you than what I'm just trying to put together, I think. So in the future.
So is there a link between volcanoes and pyramids?
Yes, for sure. I think, especially because of what pyramid means, fire, I think, and energy.
Fire in the middle. Yeah.
And so if a pyramid got flooded too, who knows? You have to, if you can, mountains.
Is that what they are? That would give them the shape.
Think about a pyroclastic blast on a pyramid, is going to look like a mountain and probably decompose and such. So we need to use all of our detection. Like we have to go and be like, what is in this mountain? I look at hills, everything. I'm just like, I wonder what's really under everything I'm looking at now.
A volcano, in your description, how would you describe the structure of a volcano? Would you describe it as a structure? Would you describe it as a formation?
Oh, I love this question. So if you want to see how it is described, it's madness, because anything that has gas, water, mud, any type of liquid substance coming from it can be labeled a volcano. So that's the big, is that misnomer that they're just like, you can, because I was like, there's 3 types of volcanoes. When I first started studying this, I thought I had it all down. And I'm like, wait a minute, how is that a volcano? Wait, that's a caldera. Wait, that's, and so they have different types of eruptions
and stuff of volcanoes.
And the volcanic index, the volcanic explosive index, because I was looking at that compared to the nuclear blast index and trying to figure out power and the data they have on earthquakes and volcanoes, which are also a lot of times simultaneous. Tsunamis are caused by submarine volcanoes, which is an interesting fact. That's almost, I think, the narrative. most of the time is that a wall of a submarine volcano has fallen over and it creates this giant wave. And so, yeah, it's just madness. I used to think a volcano was like a structure that had lava that came out of it, like a Stromboli volcano. So Stromboli volcano is the one that you do like in your science class. It's Hawaii. They also produce lands, and land can come from volcanoes. So atoll islands, the atolls or whatever. If you like drops a bomb, a lot of the like fishbowl is down, I believe too, and you're bombing the ocean floor. And so then, well, now something's coming from it, so you could label it a volcano, or you could say that you're mining it, or it's just nuts. And yeah, so I used to think volcanoes like Stromboli volcanoes, that's a volcano, but it's so broad now what they are labeling and not. And then there's extinct volcanoes, and then there's possible volcanoes, probable volcanoes. They started adding more labels to volcanoes as I was studying it. I'm like, looking at it, there's a brown volcano everywhere on my volcano. I'm like, possible volcano? What does that even mean? I'm trying to see if there's like 3 or 6 of these, how far apart they are. Does it look like this type of power plant? It's like, and I know it sounds crazy, but to present this as a theory, that's beyond what people are saying. If they're saying it's all mines, it's all waste piles. And I understand people showing data evidence of that, and I'm seeing it. And I'm like, why isn't that a volcano? I'll see something like that should be. There's steam coming from it. I better, contact someone so they can add it to the list.
So what is your main focus with your channel?
So I used to be a health teacher, so I'm like all over the place with truth and inquiry. And I have a recent Tartarians channel, and I'm actually finally making a video for that's going to release tomorrow. And it's going to be on the Vital Core Sciences and Carl von Reichenbach, one of my favorite chemist, favorite researcher, that is bringing a lot of stuff together with the people I get to talk to on real science. So I'm finally ready to ask questions, and I have people to ask questions to. So this is like my volcano area, and I got to come on and just ask you for your thoughts, because there's no one to really talk to about this, because you sound very crazy. And even people that are awake to a lot of stuff are like, I don't get it.
This is our club.
I'm sorry. I know I'm trying to break it down, but it's very convoluted, because you have, I was on submarine volcanoes for 6 months just trying to understand. I'm like, can I really go label one and it becomes mine if I discover it? And it's like bubbling, and if there's land coming from it, so it's just.
You're in good company. Everybody around me within a 3-block radius thinks I'm a nut.
Well, there you go.
It's all good.
So we're on the same boat. So I have recent Tartarians for that, and then I have, and Julia and I, she did, and our other friend Dee did a astrological reading of people, because I'm getting into the research and data that supports the moon has impact on mood and emotion, and a lot of things. And so your birth time and when you're born and how all that stuff can actually, you can fall into certain, almost not a stereotype, but there's certain things that you can be aware of that might help you kind of along your life process. So I'm starting to like believing in that, and they're kind of blowing my mind with what they're doing. And that's going to, I don't know if that's going to be Recent Tartarians or my Truth Fairy channel. So I have a couple, and
you got to be careful. You'll end up like me. You'll end up with 3 channels, and then it's like, oh my God, what do I do now?
Well, and it's just little stuff, but I'm finally ready to start talking about it. It's taken 7 years. I needed a video title, and it's what did I come up with?
It took you 7 years to come up with a title so that you.
No, like every time I want to make a video, I'm like, okay, and I think I have it, and then I'm doing. I can't remember it now.
I've been working on the same video for 3 years. You're good.
See, but it's either rediscovering or recreating Tartaritech, and it's going to be on some of these scientists that have been eliminated from our existence, that have been smeared, that have their books about being smeared, and have the other credible scholars of the time endorsing their work, and it's like been vanished from. So the first one is von Reichenbach from the 1850s.
I think
and I'm doing it.
You need to make a video called Smeared with Tartar.
I love Reich. Reich is I have every Reich book. I brought up Contact with Space, and it was a book that when it was available, it was $1,500. It was the only one I could find. I'm like, I have to have this book. And so I wrote this sob story on eBay, and I'm like, I've spent like $20,000 on books in the last year for my library. I am not allowed to buy any more books. Is there any way I could give you like $150 for this book? Because it was the only one. And the person sent it to me, and I was just waiting and waiting. And it's interesting. It's kind of his contact with like the OSS at the time, back and forth, and he's got his cloudbuster and he's aiming it at these orbs in the sky. Not him, his tech, and what happens to his technician and his paralysis, and documenting the aftermath of this. Fascinating. And he's his microbiology work and life creation, spontaneous life creation.
I get you though. I went to Barnes and Noble in 2008 and bought over $3,000 in books, and they wheeled it out on 2 dollies.
Yeah, that's
so
every military book. They auction off books for the military, like parents or kids that have their parents' books that you're not supposed to get, like the battalions. I have all these naval. I shouldn't say this actually. Some of the stuff in the front of the book says that I'm literally not supposed to have it, but I don't have those anymore.
You're very naughty girl.
I've gotten rid of those. They were from libraries. Enough about my library.
Never get rid of books, but like you do have a really good knowledge, and probably like way better than mine. And like I love like the questions you bring up of Reich, like his work and stuff. It's like
I got one more to add. Walter Russell. Add him to the
yeah.
list.
We need to finally do more Walter
His books
Russell
are expensive.
episodes.
Yes, I'm rereading Walter Russell again for the 5th time. In preparation for that, Bernie.
And the diagrams are like, you could just like stare at them.
Oh,
and
yes.
So many downloads just looking at them, like, yes.
And I love the combination of him and his wife coming together and creating that their knowledge and I love that
The balance of
balance.
it.
Yes, I love it. It's wonderful.
Such good.
And Julia, tell us about your channel.
Oh,
Tell us
hold on.
what your
I
focus
have to do
is.
one more pitch real quick.
Go ahead.
Because I'm here. My real mission, though, is to start new schools. And if we call them Tartary Nova new schools, like homeschool charters. And right now, there's 4 teachers, you 4. I've been collecting your work. I commented earlier on your video
that's amazing.
about how I've been storing the stelliums on board, armors on board since the start of all this. When I found out textbooks were corrupt. This is how this all started for me in 2016. I was like, we're going to start new schools. We have to do something. So now there's enough people waking up that have kids. And instead of them waking up, we're awake and we're like, okay, now what do we do about this generation? How do we teach them about history, reset, self-centered, being centered, all the stuff that wasn't till I was in my 30s that I learned about. And so you people, I wanted to say before, thank you, because your channels, and I made a video and I did a short, I couldn't think of Beags' channel's name. So I'll go back and edit and add it in. But I was like, I said, our mission is to help people. And I go, my real mission is to get the teachers like correlated, and I'm a teacher. I'm getting my PhD in psychology, so I can hopefully set up charters and give teachers like the license to, and hopefully provide financial support for some of the stuff you're doing within our school setting. And all of the people that are following you that have kids, this is who they want to somehow teach their kids, and it's hard to give the information. You do it best. And so picking your subject matter and doing a lecture and a live stream for a group of high school kids. It's just, so that's my dream. You are the people I've been saving videos of to do it. And help.
There's a little 3-year-old, she's 5 now, but she lives next door and she watches cartoons, and I am terrified to watch cartoons with her because the crap that they're teaching her on there, they are very clever. Yeah.
Well, we have creative minds too that can be creating. We have comics. Andreas's network of people too. He's got comics. He's got voice actors. He's got people that were animators, and we have AI animation. So we can create a network of incredibly funny and creative cartoons. And it's just so like what you're saying, expanding upon that. It's like kind of a new world, and we have the freedom to create it. We're not doing anything bad or wrong. We're not giving misinformation. We're offering education. And it should be certified.
We don't have as a community. We don't have any sort of children's network of material. It's all adult oriented, and
so like high school. But here's the thing: they're talking about outer space and stuff in 2nd grade and 3rd grade, and getting books read to them on the space station. And I have my son saying, "It was pretty convincing, Mom," and I'm like, "Well, let me talk to you about that's actually in low Earth orbit." So I have to try and explain this to a 3rd grader, and I'd rather have the teachers be doing that. You know what I mean? I wish there was an expert for each. And I'm going to have to, my daughter plugs her ears in science, I guess. I'm like, don't do that. I want you to listen to everything they say and just tell me, and we'll talk through it and I can explain it. She's like, well, the teacher didn't see it. And I'm like, I don't want you to, but my kids are in school.
And they have to listen to the teacher because they have to pass that damn test.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. Grade. That goes back to the whole.
The other thing is we need educators, not teachers. Teachers
and that's yes. We don't need people programmed and limited. And just even music, and there's so many good people that are online.
Music. We need to bring music
horticulture.
back.
Yes, music and the arts.
I was a drummer. I played drums. Yeah. I don't do it anymore because I hurt my back and I can't do it. It's too physically exhausting. But
do get some bongos.
Musical instruments. We need to bring those back. People
100%.
need to learn an instrument.
And so in my schools, if we have charter networks, we can have if there's 3 families in the state of Minnesota, you can do a field trip. There's things that you can get funded and part of a curriculum as families that are learning and also networking with others. So and it starts with the people that are awake, and it starts with kind of the online, and then hopefully we build bigger communities and we can do that, and we can send instruments, and we can do, get the funding so a kid can have a violin and take or a cello in their house, or bongo drums, whatever it is. It should be the choice. Choose your own adventure education is kind of also the idea of being able to design what you want for your children and being a part of it if you can. So anyway, enough about that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about a good way, if you just have a library where you literally have all these different courses, and anyone who's running a homeschool, they can just go and buy a course for whatever, $50. And then even if $50 is expensive, the whole school can pitch in and buy it, and then they own it forever, and they can build up their catalog and choose what they want to teach, and really give the power back to the parents, And
you can have both. You could have a charter where you do, and you have a network and you meet up, or take one trip or whatever a year group, or you can do it all online if you're not able to do that.
And you could make money, and that could, buy instruments and stuff and give back, and exactly.
Teach people how to farm and
yes,
horticulture,
permaculture, man. So, free energy, build your own
hopefully
house.
We can work on that. But I've already saved tons of your vids for it. You might not have to do it much, but I might be asking all right, in the future, if I call it.
Cool.
Yeah, we have so much work to do. It's for the first...
I woke up this morning thinking I had the day off, and it's now 2:20 p.m. and I've been
going
for about 6
hours. I have to go to pick up my lovely partner Amber from the freezing train. It's -20 again here. It's ridiculously cold.
Cool.
It was so nice to meet you.
It snowed a foot and dropped 25 degrees.
This is blessed. This is the greatest thing ever. Thank you.
Julia, I wanted to hear more about what you're doing on your channel.
I'm
going to jump on it. Oh, okay.
Right now, I'm linked up with recent Tartarians, and that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna have a channel, but probably in the summertime, I'm gonna do it. Right now, I'm focusing on I got the tablet project, and I have these conferences.
Biomed Expos.
You're going down to do an expo soon. What is it? An energy thing, isn't it?
And the one with Rife is going to be in a couple weeks. Right. Yeah, that one's going to be in a couple weeks. But then there's the Biomed Expo in LA, March 24th to the 26th. Then there's the Mount Shasta one in June. And then in Vegas, I'm presenting at an alien event. Laura Eisenhower is going to be there. Brad Olson, James Rink, we're all speaking at that, and that's in Vegas in September.
Right. Wonder Woman.
But I focus on weird stuff, it's my experience with just interdimensional plasma orbs that came, and my results from remote viewing things. I came across a lot of ancient advanced technology, crystalline technology, and what it's able to do, and things I've interfaced with remote viewing and So it's sprinkled a little bit about all that stuff, but a lot of like it's underground.
Wow.
And so that's I come in, you guys are talking about aqueducts. I'm like, what? Like because ancient aqueducts and viaduct, like it just gets my soul, like it gets me excited.
I'm not I don't have any remote viewing capabilities. I wish I did. That's a cool superpower. But what my superpower is I'm an empath. So that's my superpower. And if you don't know what that is, I know a lot of you do, but if you don't know what that is, forget about it. You won't understand it. But it's a very special power. I think we all have a little something. We just have to find out what it was. I didn't know I was an empath until about 2013, and I started figuring it out. And but for a long time, I wasn't sure what the hell was going on. It was very confusing.
Oh, absolutely. We all have gifts and abilities, and it's about unlocking them. We're like a little puzzle piece. We're like, this person's clairaudient, or this person's just, and then coming together. But I believe we all have remote viewing capabilities, and that's what we talk about on recent Tartarians. Of like how to help activate those. That's what it's all about, and that's what I teach. And what I do really is like consulting is people on my website juliacameron.com, like they come to me. It's almost like I call it soul development, because like work with them on their blockages and things that happen to, because there's a lot of ancestral karma and bloodline stuff and things. It's like,
be right back, I gotta go.
Oh, sorry.
Restart the trip.
Yeah, man, don't leave the girl freezing. God, get out of here.
Poor Amber.
Oh yeah, I unmuted. I thought it.
No, that's a very good point. Is one thing I learned, and I woke up 15 years ago this month, and one thing I learned is that we all have these abilities for telepathy and clairvoyance and empathy and being an empath. We have all these things, prophecy. We have all this, but we have forgotten how to use it or how to activate it. And so
we've been taught
activated all these other superpowers. I do have that one, and it's a start, but I think we all have this.
Do you not feel it's a curse ever though? Being
absolutely.
Can you turn it off? Because empaths, it's
yes.
I happen to be I thought I was an empath where I got stuck in a cycle.
Right now I have it turned off talking to you all.
Yeah, okay, so you can just.
Yeah, I didn't used to understand that. Used to, I would be talking to people and I'd be like, this son of a bitch is lying to me. And how do I know that?
Oh my god!
And I couldn't understand. Like I'd be having like conversations with people, and it's like there's no reason for me to think they're lying to me, but I know good and damn well they're lying to me. And they come to find out they were, and I'm like, well, how the hell did I know that? It's not like you're reading their mind. It's not that.
No,
you just know
their energy.
Yeah,
that's so interesting. You said that because
I
thought I was just around really bad like liars or like, but it's been because I got in a rut with empathy, and it was just. If I didn't get over it, I knew I was going to become like depressed because I had got stuck in a cycle of this empathizing for a certain situation that happened. And I learned about empaths, and I was like, I wonder, but not in a good way. I learned about it from a psychological diagnosis type of thing. You don't want to be an empath. And so I kind of started shutting off this. It was a girl had been stuck in a car or something, and I kept reliving this every night, and I couldn't sleep, and I could feel like it was just terrible. I was torturing myself. But the intuition that you have with it when it's fully turned on is there's no, like, it's impossible to lie. Like even as a teacher and students, I knew
I can walk in a room, I can know immediately who's pissed off, who's in a good mood, who's gunning for me. And I can feel that energy as soon as I get in I can feel people's energy 2-3 houses over until something's going on. I have to tune it out, and I've learned to tune it out because that stuff, it soaks into you and it really messes with you.
I'm going to probably have to consult you because I have turned it off because it's like to a point where it impacts everything in your daily.
Oh my
And
gosh,
I would, wow, the way you
I
described that though.
I would go into situations where there would be these really negative people, and they were having a negative experience, but I'd be soaking up all that energy, and I would be feeling what they were feeling, and then I'd take it home with me, and I'm like, why am I in such a bad mood? What is wrong with me? And then I'd realize, wait a minute, I've brought that energy back with me. Another thing I can tell is I can tell what people are thinking without them even knowing that that's what they're thinking, and then I'll tell them what they're thinking, and they'll be like, wait, how do you know? Wait, I didn't even, wait, you're right, how the hell did you know that? Like, and it freaks them out.
Julia will have to do your big three if you haven't done that, and that'd be fun. She does your big three with your birth sign, and it's like, Beags would be great. I bet you his followers would like to see
you
that
guys,
happen.
one time I went to do remote viewing, and I remote viewed something, and I saw my boyfriend. It showed me my boyfriend at with a girl, and I saw it, and it showed me where they were sitting. It looked like, in the back of a bed, like how it's upholstered, on those upholstered bed back, and I was like, wait a second. Why? It showed them sitting down, but it was like the upholstery of the back of a bed. And so when I saw him, I was like, hey, where were you? And he said he was with his friend. And I was like, does she have blonde hair? And I'm describing her. And then he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, where at? And then he said, where? And then he said it was a couch that was upholstered like that, but it showed me exactly where he was. I was like, what's going on? But sometimes you see things you don't want to see, and you can never unsee them,
When I was in high school, I dated the same girl for my junior and my senior year, and we were in love, you know what I mean? That high school love. And I took her home one day, and which I did all the time from school, and I was dropping her off, and she had gone to the movies the previous weekend while I was working with a girlfriend of hers, and there was a boy with them. And I got this sense that she liked him. Now, not that she did anything, but I got the sense that she liked him. She hadn't said a word about this guy. And I said, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to be honest with me. And she said, what's that? And I said, did you like that guy? Did you find him interesting? Would you be interested in him? She said, no. I said, okay. And I broke up with her. She had a baby with him.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Happened.
Yeah.
That's
literally.
Bizarre. I've had that happen.
The thing is, I was in a long relationship, and I literally saw him cheating with a particular, with a few different people. And it was things at the time I didn't know, but that had already happened and was about to happen. He was about to hook up with my friend when I was at my house sleeping. I didn't know, this was before it had even happened. But come to find out, I found out all of it much later, but it was all on point, but it, what are you going to say? Hey man, I know you are. I saw it, in my head.
It's really tricky because you have to. I've learned that I have to be careful because just because you sense something doesn't mean that it's going to come true. So I used to sometimes would call people out.
It's incredible advice, by the way. That's really good for any empath to hear that. Yeah, that is.
If you kind of call your shots and say, hey, look, I know you're up to no good, that doesn't mean that they're actually up to no good. It just means there was the potential for them to be up to no good. People can still have the free will to make a different choice.
How can you determine that though? Doesn't that drive you nuts? Because I try to avoid having any of that happen in my life too. And
I wait.
You just wait patiently and see if you were right. You don't want to manifest it and give it more potential energy.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of things that help too, is like raising your frequency. Like I'm a big believer of dance therapy. Movement is medicine, and getting and moving, like whether
you should do a dance class with these guys, Julia.
Yes,
you guys want to do a dance? Oh, you're back. Do you have low any low
class.
Mobility? Yeah, Julia's
I don't know,
gonna.
man.
Science is
Last time I tried to dance, it was quite embarrassing.
One of the best things that I ever found in my awakening process was spinning. I haven't done it in quite a while because it was actually raising my vibrations higher than I could handle. But spinning was if you will try spinning, it will trip you out. If you know what spinning is.
I have to take off to pick up Amber. Sorry to
aren't you gone yet? What are you gonna do? You're gonna find her dead on the side of the road.
No, she's on the a heated train up. I was just pre-starting the truck, but now I have to go.
I want photos, and if there's an icicle on her nose, you're in trouble, buddy.
No, I'm not, but I will be if I don't leave immediately, and that's why I am interrupting. But I did in the private chat post Julia's video by Terry Carter of the tablet that I just was also showing next to us that was the one you remote viewed or whatnot.
We were learning about like empaths and lots of stuff, Bernie. We're soul searching here.
I'll be listening on YouTube.
Okay.
See y'all in a bit. Love you.
Thanks. Yes,
yeah,
much love.
Searching. You go search for your girlfriend.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
Movement
is medicine, and it helps it helps the insights, and it helps balance like the differentiating what is ours.
Chauffeur. Sorry.
It helps differentiating like what is yours and what's your neighbor's, what's the guy around the corner, you know, what they're feeling, because you pick up on the thought waves, you pick up on that frequency, and then when you raise your frequency a certain height, or you know, it's able to like shield out.
Are you arguing that dancing raises our frequency?
Well, doing certain things like exercising your creative and physical energy, it or else it becomes destructive, and then but also it raises your vibration to where you can differentiate. You're sharper at ridding things from being absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It's also like a way of
doing what's called spinning, and I would stand in a field and I would spin.
That kind of spinning. So that's like ear crystal spinning.
You're activating your chakras, and I was getting to a point where I was literally able to manifest things like very quickly, and it was scary.
I wanted to go spinning with you.
What were you spinning?
You should do a spinning class. This is not spinning like cycling spinning. This is spinning with
no.
Yeah, like with your arms out.
Like what I wanted to do when I heard Amro's music. I heard music that made me want to stop my car and do that. Nathan made. This is really weird. Nathan made he orchestrates music, and then he tries to have people like play it that are musicians, because he writes it and then he can play it, and then it's crazy. But I listened to some of his work, and I literally wanted to pull over, and I felt myself like spinning in a field, and I didn't know there was anything to it. But I'm thinking that Beags is onto something. And where did you first hear of that, Beags?
The sound of music.
The long story short, you hold your hands out in front of you, and you focus your eyes between your thumbs in the little space between your thumbs, and you spin your whole body with your arms straight, and you go around and around and around and around, and you hold that focus, and you
what
go
direction
as time as you can.
Does it matter what direction?
So, yes, it matters.
Sort of on a bit of an off wobble, if you know what I mean. Like your hands.
I would have to look it up and get back to you on that, because it's been a while since I've done this. But you would go. I would usually do about 75 spins. And then you stop, and if you do it properly, you'll stop and you'll bring your hands in, and you'll find your balance, and then you'll just walk out.
I don't know if I buy that. I might try and debunk this on a video. 75 times of this.
75 times.
And then you bring your hands down, and then you can walk out straight.
I actually have a book that talks about it. It's where I learned from it. But you will not get.
I believe you.
do
I'm
it
just saying.
properly, you won't get dizzy, and you'll be able to.
You won't get dizzy
walk out of it.
Because you're
You just
focused on
focus
it.
on one spot.
I've done it.
Yeah, I
and showed
see
people,
that.
and it just
Oh my
trips them out.
gosh. I believe you. I'm doing it right now, and I'm like, wait a minute.
But it activates your chakras, and it can increase your energy so high and so quickly. It's scary.
Well, think about
fast do you
that.
have to spin? Does that matter?
Yeah, I want to
do you
look
have
into the
spin
science on
quickly?
this. This would be great for kids ADHD or like starting a school day.
You just,
You know what I mean?
You just turn in a circle, but you have to keep the focus, because if you just go in there and turn in a circle, you'll get dizzy.
Yeah, your eyes have
exactly.
to focus.
That was the old trick. Like
Focus.
when you hold a stick and look at it and spin around, you can't walk. You just go sideways. But
Right. The idea is that when you're focusing in between your thumbs, you're
Outside,
focusing and you're not gonna. It's complicated, but once
Under
you
the
learn how to
peripheral,
do
I
it,
bet too.
and you start off small, you do it very
Sure.
just a few repetitions.
You're
around
blocking your peripheral
I'm gonna-
vision, and so you're
Yeah.
focusing your only energy.
okay.
That's got to be what it is. Because when I'm
It's
doing
like
it, it's
the
like
world is spinning around you, but your
With
focus
it.
is balanced and centered, and you'll feel
Wow.
your chakras raising.
wow, that's
cool. I
awesome.
just
Thank
want to
you
see
very
if we can
much.
get 40 ADHD kids to spin
I'll-
around. That'd be awesome to film.
I know what book it's in. It's just finding.
Go
it.
out there and spin.
Not
I've got
if they are literally doing it in the right way, though, as a therapy. Is what
My
I'm saying.
backdrop is
Yeah,
actually
well, yeah,
my
exactly.
backdrop is
It's-
about 1,000 books that you can't see. It's
I'll have to share my video of my library. One day I went and filmed everything in my sections, and now it's in storage.
cool.
I don't have it anymore. I mean, it's gone, but I used to have it.
Oh,
Anyway, and there are no
not
videos.
the
Of it.
library. That's not
actually
good.
Dr. Oz talked about it years later on his television show.
Really, the
Wow.
spinning.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Uh,
Well, I'm definitely looking into that for sure.
But
and I will
also,
try.
like with helping like certain insights and stuff from differentiating and not getting thrown off is just cleansing. And Brittany and I talk about that of like parasite cleanse, heavy metal cleanses, because
Okay.
sometimes like we'll be getting certain what the parasites release, the fluid that sends signals to our like a neurotoxin that sends signals to our brain that demand certain things, and it can kind of make you feel overwhelmed and feel more susceptible to like your nervous
when you raise your.
huh
Oh, what's that?
Oh,
Black?
yes,
Is that
the
when you
black
raise your
walnut.
frequency? You mean?
No,
Like the
I haven't done it yet. I'm supposed to, I have to stop eating sugar, and so
Oh
I've
yeah,
had it-
sugar. I know, right?
and
Why
when
does
I do
coffee
this,
taste better
I'm going to
with
do
sugar? It's
a
funny,
black
isn't
walnut cleanse. I want to do it. I've been meaning to for like a month now, and I
I've
just
been
have to.
taking oregano oil. Sorry, oregano oil.
Oh, and cloves.
And that's supposed to be like a sort of a
Detox.
detoxy thing. So-
I want to do this to detox. I'm like, I kind of want to just
Okay.
like come back and
And
go try
redox.
it.
There
You heard
is
of
a
redox molecules.
it comes from India. The
Spinning.
yeah, that's
Okay.
where it's a exercise, a yogic exercise.
Mm-hmm.
It
Makes sense. They do it for ear crystals. Like they'll go to office and you have ear crystals and
I can't remember what it's called.
vertigo. They use it to cure vertigo when you go, I guess. But that's making you dizzy, where they spin you in a chair or whatever. I haven't done it.
That was one of the
That's
worst.
different,
wait,
though.
Campbell, wait, you said oregano? That there's oregano in that?
Oil, yeah.
Oregano oil. Okay, don't use it for too long because it gets rid of it. Like it's like a really potent natural antibiotic. It could kind of get rid of all the good gut fauna as well.
Oh, okay.
So like
cool.
take it. They don't recommend like more than like 10 days or 12 days. But if you're trying to clear something up or get rid of it, it kind of like bombs it. It's like napalm, like an antiseptic.
Okay, yeah, right. Yeah,
But-
because you're supposed to
but
really just take it when you're feeling sick normally, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, like for that. But like heavy metals and stuff, zeolite is really good to take to do. And
That's
it's really
the clay, yeah. So you like clay?
well, it's like
Is
part,
that clay?
you get it in the liquid
Powder,
form and then like put it in water, and don't get the one from
What's the
Amazon.
clay I've got some
Well, no,
clay.
I filter all my water, and I put crystals in my water.
Ooh, nice.
It's like gold and silver, but crystals. That's going to pull out everything, isn't it?
I don't know why. I've never heard anybody say that they do that, but I actually take a whole bag of crystals as big as my fist, and I keep them in the water.
That's some inner earth stuff right there.
Yeah, that might be the fountain of youth there, Biggs, that you figured out. Were you going to say that you had an episode of vertigo or something like that? Because I was going to tell you my story because it's happened one time.
Did you guys have an inner ear infection?
It was horrible. It was an emergency room 911 call. It was that bad. I didn't know if people have it that bad, but I couldn't move. It was so terrifying. So I don't know what it is.
I had it that bad.
One time
I woke up with and the whole world was spinning. I couldn't get it to spin. I puked everything up.
Throwing up. I thought I had a stroke. I had a stroke, and I laid in the corner.
And my friend came over to help, and he's like, I got to take you to the doctor. I'm not getting off this bed.
I couldn't move. They had to come and get me with a stretcher. And I was at a hotel. Yeah, it was nuts. It was my daughter's birthday. I thought I got food poisoning.
I was running my own business, and I was working 7 days a week, and I was working, and I started off drinking coffee, and then it became a pot of coffee, and then that became coffee plus espresso. Then I was going to Starbucks and getting a doppio espresso, quad doppio espresso in a coffee. And then that wasn't enough, so I started popping Vibrin pills.
Only drinks tea now.
Then you had vertigo? Because I'm wondering, I don't think I did any of that day.
I had vertigo, and I went to the doctor, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, what could it be? And she says, oh, it's just an inner ear infection. I said, well, do you think it could be all this caffeine? She goes, no. And so I quit doing caffeine, even though the doctor said, I don't think that's the problem. And I didn't have the vertigo again. She gave me something that cleared it up, but that was horrible.
It wasn't from an infection at all. For some people, there's no explanation. It may be nicotine, because it was like I was smoking a nicotine pen. That's the only thing I could think of. Or I was sitting funny when I was doing like a rendering. Ironically enough, though, I was mining that day for those crappy little mines in this little like what you were doing, and I didn't get anything. It was just like, this is really how you're mining for stuff. I just remember that's what happened earlier, because then woke up hours later, thought it was food poisoning, and I just laid against the wall, and I'm like, I might have had a stroke. I can talk, but I can't open my eyes because everything is spinning and it won't stop. And so my only thing was I must have I didn't know. So then I got called out,
but you hadn't drank anything, and
sick, nauseous.
It was horrible.
They don't explain that to people the right way. I've heard of vertigo, and I always think about a movie, and I'm like, isn't that a movie, like a Hitchcock movie or something? Right? No, it's
scary. It was really scary. I didn't even want to get in the car to go to the doctor.
I wouldn't have been able to. I wouldn't have been able to walk out of there. They brought me out on a stretcher. It was like my daughter's birthday. Poor kid.
Oh, that's scary.
Traumatized. Yeah.
Mommy's on a stretcher.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there was
I think Bernie's on his phone.
Oh, I knew it. I was going to call him out for that. I'm like, you know what, Bernie? I'm sure he's right from his phone.
He just can't leave us alone.
He's like, I got a vertigo story. I got to get in there. You got a spinning story, maybe? I don't know. What is it?
Freaking stalker, eh?
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
He's bloody live stream bombing, man.
You don't have your
make that a thing.
Bomb streams?
Yeah, man. Just bomb live streams.
Oh, yeah. Everybody. Good call.
Oh, my goodness.
There he goes. Oh, my gosh. Just to make an appearance. But he's got to get his two cameras in there.
Well, talking about being awake, I think one thing that's really important that people understand is that when you awake, when you wake up, you're not awake, okay? There are stages to awakening.
There's no final destination. No.
There's no yes. Just because you have awakened does not mean you're the Buddha. Okay.
Well, I feel like that's what happens. That shows it. That goes to show what part of their stage they're on, and it's usually like pretty early on, where once you receive all the info, that savior syndrome happens, and then what they want to do is stand on a platform and I have to run and tell the people. You know,
yeah.
like,
what if you're a health teacher? What if you're a health teacher and you find all this out?
And so before they do like more inner work and do the work themselves, a lot of people will run out and want to like preach without. And then what happens is that supersedes the work, and then they end up like preaching and the inner work stops, and then it becomes, you know, projecting, deflecting, and you could tell where somebody's at in their journey by
everybody off when I first woke up, because I thought I was the reincarnated Buddha or something. I thought I had arrived. I thought I knew some shit, and I did. But after going through, you know, a dark night of the soul or two, and, you know, 15 years later, I realized that I'm just waking up.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that's how I feel.
The more I learn, the more I'm like, I know absolutely nothing.
I bought 2 books of every book for the other teacher. I'm like, they're going to teach about geoengineering. I'm going to slip them this book and all these flyers, and you know, and they'll be able to just teach it from what this says, because it's clear to me. I mean, it's got to be clear to them, right? So yeah.
Why can't they see it? Oh, they're so wrong. Of course.
Yeah, it's almost like a high though. Like as you're waking up to new things. I mean, I was learning about different Earth models, and I was like trying to be leveled and just comprehend all what I was taking in, because I had been really into NASA, and I had just presented. I had just presented using Neil deGrasse Tyson's like opening discussion on galaxy to try and get kids into physics of Fayed or something. That's where I was at in this weird, right before I started waking up. And I had bought all these Hubble telescope images and put them around my health room, and I showed them. I thought that was a part of it, right? Because I had just learned about the heliocentric model and seen a video of it, and it blew my mind. And from that awakening, then it came all the other stuff after. Like it was like, whoa, because I hadn't been into science at all. So it was like this huge thing. Then I found out textbooks were corrupt, and I will make a video on that someday, because that's like my
very
strongest research. And then it was like each little thing. But I feel like I was lucky to find the videos I did and watch like the hearings. I watched all the church committee hearings, and I was like, what? So it's like, there's almost like a guide that could be given to people to help them if they ever wanted to start waking up. And there are steps that can be helpful instead of seeing this first or that. Like all the pedophilia rings are really hard to learn about, you know, and that can be devastating to somebody, and you can get stuck in that for your whole truth journey. You know what I mean? And
you've got to go down dark holes.
Yeah,
I didn't wake up to flat Earth and mud flood until 2019, and I ran across jet fuel hoax, and looking into that, I came across flat Earth. And when I came across flat Earth, I found Martin Liedtke, because of the Flat Earth British. And so I looked into him, and then this crazy person started talking about mud flood, and I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I thought he was a nutter. And the more I watched, the more I realized maybe he's not a nutter.
Did you see No Forest on Flat Earth? Did you see that early documentary with the Russian?
Yeah.
Where it got taken down. That was really mind like, wait, what just happened? So if you saw that in some of the
flat Earth, I about 6 months I went through a process where I had to wake up to flat Earth, and that one really bothered me, because I loved the stars and the planets and all that stuff.
And the aliens, man. Bloody hell.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think if you ever saw Owen Benjamin, if he really woke up to that, he had his whole thing documented.
I was watching that.
I was like, this poor man. I'm like, I felt like I was there.
I know. I watched all of that as well. And like, there's one of them, and he's literally sitting there going, I don't want to be a flat earther.
I don't want to know any of it.
I don't want to know. Why have you done this to me?
And I don't know the shape. I mean, I can't say what I subscribe to. I just know that the helium model has a lot of flaws with the science that we're working with and what we're looking at. So
yeah, I don't know the structure of it. I have a big problem with how it's structured.
Jessica Pisces. Vesica Pisces. That's what I say. I'm like, this realm is the shape of the earth is a Vesica Pisces shape. Yeah, like when you open it up, it's like that shape, and then the Taurus field and the energy field. Like, Vesica Pisces shaped earth.
I'm starting a model for new schools. Yeah. You'll be one of our Earth model teachers.
Which
in the new schools.
That's one of my favorite sacred symbols. Also, the sacred Vesica Pisces.
Oh, absolutely.
Vesica Pisces. It's a cool symbol, man.
It really is. I mean, it's the fish.
And it's like past, present, future, like
they just
integrating both sides, dark and light, good and evil. Like it is the ultimate symbol.
And it's the whole, and when you have two fields or two different things, you create a third that's not quite the same as the two inputs. And
that's something else I've learned in awakening is that the yin yang is a very important symbol. And I'll tell you why. Most people, they look at the yin yang and they see, the black and the white chasing each other, the light and the dark chasing each other. They're not chasing each other. They're creating balance. Without light, there is no dark, and with no dark, there is no light.
Well, I thought it stood for in every dark there's some light, and in every light there's some dark. That's why there's got the opposite dots.
There is. It's a balance between the two.
Exactly. Yeah.
But see, most people, they say, oh, lighty and love, and they always go to the light and the love when they first awaken, but they forget the darkness.
I'm still definitely there. Both.
There is no light where there is no darkness, right?
But they say, another thing that I heard is, with all the evil, okay, if you look at the faction of the evil people, like Hillary Clinton, whatever, you could, a faction of evil individuals, and if you look at it as if
people,
this thought form of these people, they feel like, imagine them as very devout believers in like something, whether Christianity or whatever, and they feel called. They know there has to be a certain level of darkness and evil here in order for the realm to be balanced, and they take it upon. They believe they have to do this and feel called to bring a level of darkness and malevolence here to balance it. So it's just a thought.
Very good point. Conversations with God, that I don't know if you read those books, but in that book, he says, what I'll tell you is that Hitler went to heaven.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying heaven is real. What I'm saying
is because history's fake, dude.
That's part of it. And heaven could be on Earth.
Well, having like Hitler, like he had Palladian looking people like show up. I'm like, you never really hear too much about that info. Like something obviously, something interdimensionally came down and had a heavy hand on influencing a lot of things. So
Valiant Thor connections, Julia? Huh? Was there any Valiant Thor connections to Hitler? Because I know he was around. I know you saw some Valiant Thor presentations. No.
Yeah,
have they done any connection?
I didn't hear any connection to Hitler about
just because he was connected to our Congress and CIA and different timelines. He appears. He's almost like Saint Germain.
Me and Brittany kind of have like a crush on Valiant Thor.
This is not to say that we need to be dark. It's just saying we have to understand there is dark, and it has to be.
And most people only identify with the light, like, oh, love and light.
That's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah, it's like, just sit on your cushion, everything's good, just stay positive.
And that's what we were talking about
last
night.
As long as I'm loving and lighty, everything will be wonderful. And
your subconscious mind is 30,000 times more stronger than your
shadow
conscious mind,
work.
and that's that's your subconscious mind is what pilots your reality, whether you like it or not, and that's why shadow work is so important.
Shadow work. See, they told me. They're telling me.
Because you're filtering it, and once you like heal and identify certain things, and then you manifest from there. But a lot of people don't want to identify with I have very
spinning before I do any shadow work is what I'm going to have to do. I've been struggling.
When I for the first few years
of turn into a vampire, and then you don't need to do the shadow work.
First year of my awakening, I went and lived in a tent in the mountains. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. I loved it. But then I had to come back into reality. But the thing I learned is that when I first woke up, I was all lovey and lighty. But then, that dark night of the soul catches up with you, and that'll really put things in perspective for you. So look forward to that. It's coming.
Yeah. I mean,
So I have to do ayahuasca to actually deal with those, because I'm thinking like maybe I just put it off until I do like a religious ceremony.
Some people need. Okay, I did a lot of LSD in the 90s. Okay, I needed it. Some people need it. I needed it. Other people don't need it. Some people need ayahuasca.
Some people can't
need
have
peyote.
it.
I needed the peyote too.
I had a friend who had one trip and he never came down.
Apparently, I can't have it. Like, I produce higher amounts of DMT naturally, and so I can't imagine the stuff I would see on that.
Oh, good God! Yeah, stay away from that, Julia. You're gonna be like, you were on New Year's Eve, but you'll just be talking like real. I'm just kidding.
That was the humiliation ritual.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever. You were fine. We had a couple glasses of wine.
What happened? Stories.
No, Julia doesn't drink ever, and she's like, "All right, it's New Year's Eve. Maybe I'll get some wine, or maybe should I get this flavored vodka?" I'm like, "Get both." I go, "Get both," and then she's totally fine, right? And all of a sudden enters her sister, who had been at the bars drinking, and Julia had been sipping on the side. And we were it was a real science, so they're doing all these experiments, but Bernie had a camera out at a bar, and everyone's like dancing and booty shaking. And I think you did a stream with them after or before that too. And so at one point, her and her sister kind of were having a conversation, and then we were trying not to say any swear words. And she has like, "I have 2 words for New Year's," and she, it was just funny. And it was the Effenheimer and something else. And so anyway, just Julia was out of her normal element of, being reserved and calm, cool, and collected. She was just a little bit more.
My dark side came out.
That wasn't dark at all. It was silly and adorable.
Talking about the Pleiadians, I will say that the Pleiadian information actually helped wake me up, and I actually quit drinking and smoking and doing any drugs overnight. I quit everything.
What did they tell you?
They said don't do drugs,
like in the just about being more clear,
in a nutshell, it was you cannot think clearly
when you have a dependency.
Yeah.
When you have anything, I believe it.
I took that to heart. And there was other things I dropped, but that I wanted to be clear. I wanted to learn what this was all about. And so I took it to heart, and I quit everything cold turkey. And my God, it was so good.
It's like being high. I remember when I stopped doing everything, I was like, this is like a new high.
Yeah.
Just having myself.
It's the ultimate high. It's the ultimate high.
And I wasn't, no cigarettes, no nothing. And then the anxiety of like the nicotine would come. So I think once I get over that, I'll be good, because it's the rest of it I don't like much. I'll have a glass of wine here and there. But at the same time, I do realize every time I would take a sip, it's like it's taking me away from my actual self. And I think sometimes they're not with like drinking necessarily, but microdosing or mushrooms, or if you need to reset or block things or whatever for people. But that can be helpful. I know, just because we're talking drugs for a second, PTSD in war victims, a lot of times it's very hard to come veterans, sorry. They come back and it's like, I said that as like common word. It's weird. I didn't even just gloss it over. But for my dissertation, one thing I wanted to do was look into a one-time religious experience, not even microdosing, the one-time religious experience of whether it's ayahuasca or mushrooms or even high doses of THC, where they can come back and something happens where they separate the world they're in now from the world they were in there. I don't know what it is. I want to get down to like the deeps of it, because when I worked for Tim Pool for like a year, and I drove one of their guests, and he was a veteran, and he had told me about the Immortality Key. And it's a book by someone who was a Jesuit who has never done psychedelics. The preface is like Graham Hancock writing, and just recommending this book. And he gets all like this Vatican data on some of the history of psychedelics. And I have only got halfway, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to wait to finish this till I do my dissertation and decide, because I have to decide what I want to do it on. But it's changing the lives. The soldier that was talking about this had listed like, I don't know, 10 of his platoon mates that had, probably the wrong term, PTSD, that he's gotten to try either THC or psilocybin. And it wasn't even, a smaller dose. and then they did one type of experience, and they were able to play with their kids again. And this is stuff that the veterans, the VA isn't funding any of this stuff. They're giving them medical marijuana that's really not I don't know what's even in that. And they're giving them anti-anxieties that aren't good. So if this could somehow, because they have the MAPS program, and I'm not for happy compliant microdosing either, because I have so many concerns about that. You're only seeing the light, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm very torn. But for the people that have this, that had to go to war and kill and do these things or did that, if it's something that can, get them to help them with their functioning, or extreme alcoholics. I know like Lindsay Lohan and Scott Disick, these people that went and had ayahuasca ceremonies, they were really dependent on alcohol and drugs. And then they did that treatment and it was done. They never went back to their addictions. So I want to look into like the one-time religious dosing as a reset more. And I'm very interested in that, because the microdosing has me concerned, because I could see myself like, all right, I hope I would still be motivated to do things. I just don't want to become a happy compliant. Then you're like taking the same stuff that are in like Brave New World. Isn't that? Is it Brave New World where there's a bunch of movies about that. Yeah, you're just taking the. I don't know.
I'm all for trying it. I mean, I think when people are saying don't do drugs are bad, I think they haven't done any drugs and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I think everybody should try a little bit of something, because our pineal glands are shut down. Our pituitary glands are shut down. Everything's shut down. Our chakras are shut off. We need something to jumpstart us and kick us in motion. I'm not talking about children, because they're actually born with their chakras full on, but then we shut them off through all the crap we give them. But us adults, that's
where like lion's mane kind of helps, like stuff like taking lion's mane and cordyceps, because then it gets your your brain going. And
I'm taking lion's
we need you to make like a list of this, Julia, because I get overwhelmed.
Campbell, you're taking lion's mane.
I want lion's
mane. I can't take too much lion's mane because it keeps me out of my hat. Like it kind of can get me like too cerebral or a little too like it's a little too
I've never taken lion's mane.
Oh my god, it's almost like herbal.
How much do you take?
I'm just very sensitive to it.
You sounds like
I'm ordering some right now.
It makes you like out of the quarter and sell it. Like it can make you really tweaked out. But a lot of like athletes, like a lot of athletes.
It's good for your nerves, but also brain function.
But it gives you energy. You're like, what? I'm ready to go. I'm ready to work out. A lot of guys will take it with ashwagandha. They like that, like the lion's mane with the ashwagandha. I call it, oh my gosh, ashwagandha, but it's like herbal Xanax. Like it calms you down and it soothes your endocrine system. It like in overdrive, and it helps like it mellows you out. So if you're like, hey, I really want to smoke weed, or like I really need a cocktail, take ashwagandha. You don't even need that. Like I'm not even kidding.
Do you take the lion's mane in the morning and the ashwagandha in the evening?
Exactly. But there's kind a lot of professional athletes.
Speedball.
There's a lot of professional athletes like to take it at once, and I don't like that. I'm like, no, I don't want to work out like that. Like, but
a lot of all right.
Way to spread that. But no, there's stuff in nature that's even, that's way better, and it's good for you, and it can give you that kick. And there's different nootropics. I mean, Quaalude is good if you get it without the caffeine. But that's really expensive. Quaalude?
Oh, Quaalude.
Quaaludes are not the same thing. Get your head out of the gutter, Campbell.
Hey man, I actually don't even know what a Quaalude is, but I've just heard it in lots of movies.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be.
It's some kind of drug, isn't it? It's, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm surrounded by Wall Street. I have organite everywhere.
I have a lot too.
I want to sleep inside of it.
I have my pyramids, my necklaces.
It's all under my pillow. I sleep with 4 or 5 of them.
I have it everywhere.
My head.
We'll have to do like a Reich nerd out session one of these days, because I could go on and on and on about Reich.
I don't know. I have an entire theory about how the mud flood was carried out using organite technology.
Yes,
Oregon technology.
I'd love to hear that. I would love
as like the latest reset, or like the 1800s.
Yeah, the basic theory is, now I have two theories. One is that everything's a simulation and that the simulation was changed. That's theory one. That's probably the one that I would actually veer towards. But
like a hadron collider induced? How would that be induced?
No, more like God changed it.
Oh.
That the creator decided to change the simulation. And then see, I don't see the simulation as a computer program. I see it as a holographic thought of the creator,
a mind of God. Yeah.
I think Andreas kind of shares that theory.
Yeah, he does
a little bit.
Dude, my license plate, I made it to where it says holographic. Like that was my license plate.
There you go.
Now that's my esoteric thought process, but my exoteric for some people can't get there yet, so I gave them something to work with. I looked at the mud flood and I thought, okay, how, if I was going to be the evil Stewie of the world and I'm going to mud flood the world, how would I do it? And I looked at it from a standpoint of how could it actually be done, and I looked at all the different theories, and what I came up with is this, and this is in a nutshell, that the railroads were already here across the world, the trains were already here across the world, and that they used a rain-making device using orgone technology to triangulate. They would bring a train in with this device on it, and they would triangulate over a hill or a mountain and make it rain, and the mud would then come down into the towns or the cities and
mudslides and landslides. So what? So there's a dubious intention there. That means someone wanted this to happen and to destroy everything, and is what you're saying too, or was it accidental? Because if it was like
no, not accidental. In that scenario, it would be a planned event. And it was us that did that.
Because there could also be a stratovolcano that could produce enough mud that was big enough from some of these old eruptions to cover.
I looked at that.
It could be triggered. And simultaneously,
I actually decided that wasn't a possibility. The reason is that when I looked at individual cities and towns, you can actually see the flow of mud where it's only in the cities and the towns. It's not on the outskirts. And so you can see the flow of that mud in every city and every town around the world. So I thought, well, how did you get, if it was an underground volcano or mud volcano, how would you hit every city and town around the world with this technology underground? And you can't target that.
Almost accidental. It could have happened in the old grid possibly. And I'll have to get this. So there's I have a 10,000 years of back arc data on volcanoes, which they don't publicize. But if you are a volcanologist student, you can get the overlays for your Google Earth map. And so I have because I am a volcanosophy student, I was able to get the KMZ file sent of the back arc data on volcanism, and for this 10,000 year period that isn't included in the regular volcanology studies. And every time I put the Mariana Trench overlay over, I can't process it. There's I'm zooming in everywhere. I'm like, I need to talk to people that know about it. But I would really love to ask you questions about some of the stuff that I have when I'm more prepared. Because I think you are the people that would know and could guide me, because mine are just theories. And I think you know more even about the science and the structure of the cities, and geography is better. So I have a lot of thoughts that can be simply, and I'm not committed to any theory at all.
No, we'll have to do this again. And do you know Mr. Spock? Oh no, he was a Vulcan. Sorry, not a volcanologist.
I love the Vulcans. Yeah.
Come on, that was funny. You got to laugh.
I have a meme that is me as Spock. It says I Volcant. I have the I Volcant meme of myself refaced as Spock. I'm like, I Volcant. Because it was volcanoes. Yeah. Anyway, but I would love to ask you tons of questions, lots.
Yeah, well, we'll have to have it. Yeah, well, definitely, we'll have to get you in our little group so we can contact you, and because I'd like to talk to you both about. I'd like to learn more about the the energy dancing. What it is, is that something you teach? Is it, Julia? Like the
do you know your
movement?
big three, Cambell? She's got to do your big three. Your astrology.
My big one?
Oh,
yeah, whenever we do this, you got to give it to me beforehand. I'll drop his big three.
Big three.
Oh, should I be scared?
I don't know. You should be excited. She's great.
What's a big, what is it? What's a big
Brittany
three?
has me do people's ascendant, like look up their astrological placements.
Oh,
and then she calls them out, kind of.
Yeah, I'd love to. I need to know more about. Everyone's always like this and this and that. And I just don't.
I feel like
I'm the same way. I'm like astrology.
Planet, look at it, especially for you guys. Look at it as an ancient technology that governs certain things here. You know, it influences certain things. And
okay, I'll play devil's advocate on that for just a moment.
Yeah,
let me get your
read my
opinion on
three
that.
big things.
Okay, if we have. Okay, obviously there is something to astrology. The ancients used astrology. There's all the records of astrology. We have all the maps using astrology. That being said, I'm going to throw in the monkey wrench of, okay, they added 1,000 years to the timeline, thereabouts. How would that affect the astrology?
Well, absolutely. Well, if you look at the 12, they say there's 13 signs, but the thing is, how could we, if we really studied astrology, how could we ever be deceived on 1,000 years going missing? Because according to the stars, we should always know when it is. We should
some religions though have adjusted for that. So I think there's the Vedics, and there's certain groups of astrologers and astrologies, because there's different theories that have adjusted for that timeline
and
too.
It went underground, but also that's one of the reasons that they found the 1,000 years missing, is because he was looking into astrological stuff and saying, hang on, this wasn't an equinox, this wasn't a full eclipse or whatever on this date, and putting it into what are they called, astronomical programs, and saying and then found out it was looks like 1,000 years, or it's not 1,000, but it's close to 1,000 years has been, I don't know, scrub. But who knows, right? This is the thing.
And with her, so also Julia's looking back to so if she's looking at mine, they have an accurate detail of when I was born, where the moon was located in the city I was in when I was born, at the time that I was born. And everybody else, whoever else in that hospital that was born at the same time, it would be very interesting to do a study on what their mannerisms are, what they're doing, because it's more about from your birthday, where you were at that time, and then how that impacts kind of your life. It's interesting. The energies of the day that you came into this life with, and what it has happened from whatever that is. And it could be God energy from when, if you believe, when the soul is first breathed into a child. So your birth time, you're breathing that in, and how is all, if that's all synced to God. Right. And I was looking into even like life and like with Wilhelm Reich, and that the soul and orgasm and his studies on that, because he is a biologist.
Yes.
In his deepest thing, he showed spontaneous life creation, and that's with his dialogue to Einstein. And there's a whole conspiracy around that. There's an incredible video, I don't know if you've seen it, called Sex, Lies and Videotapes, and Wilhelm Reich. And it's a microbiologist that studied his work for 10 years and did his doctoral dissertation on it. And he talks about every smear campaign, because he went and reread every one of the Senate hearings in Norway. When I found this video, I teared up. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I was looking at Wilhelm Reich's lab notes. I'm like, this looks like he created life from nothing, from cells. This is important. And I'm like, who can I talk to? Nobody cares. And he used an organic water enclave, and everybody else was using. He debunks Pasteur's stuff. So anyway, this microbiologist has dedicated his life to recreating his work in the lab as a and this is how I tried to almost get to my sister, who has a microbiology background. I'm like, watch this. So I'll share that video with you, because nobody will watching it, but it's my favorite.
Tied to the homunculus and all that kind of stuff.
That's it. So that he's got so many areas of research, but essentially he was talking about the stress response and then the orgasm, and talking about a spectrum within a person where you can, have like a complete anxiety attack where you feel like you're having a heart attack, and it's on the spectrum where you can have release. And so he did all this research on measuring that, but he gets smeared for that. And all of his other work that spawned, he's like, wait a minute, life force, what is this? So then he goes into biology and atmosphere and all these areas. And if you've heard his last plea when he's at Organon Ranch and he's doing a recording, it's just chilling where he's like, I'm at Organon. All of my colleagues have left me there. And it's just, I don't know if you've heard that, but like Reich, if you like Reich, there's a few remote videos that I've found over the years that I can share with any Reich fans, because it's so cool to talk to anybody that even knows who Wilhelm Reich is. I
shared it with Bernie, I know, but I've ran across recently a guy that did some new research into orgonite technology, and he was showing that a lot of what we understand we're doing wrong, and it was really interesting stuff. We don't
understand.
So, yeah, Andreas had a guy from Germany on that was recreating some of the Faraday through Faraday and Reich's work. I don't know if it was specifically organ. I have to share that video too in there. I don't know if he even shared that, but he had a guy on that met people that were connected to and stayed with friends of Reich's when he was. Yeah, this is exciting. Sorry. So I will share. I want to get in on that, or I'll have Andreas share those in the in your Telegram, because there's like 3 kind of really cool. Yeah. And share the video you're talking about. I want to watch that somewhere.
Yeah, I've got to find it. It was something. I actually saved it to figure out if I could make a video somehow with it because it was so interesting. But hey, Cambell, we should invite Julia to the research group also.
Yeah, are you guys on WhatsApp or?
I have WhatsApp and Telegram both.
Are you under your names or?
I'll set up a WhatsApp.
Which one?
If not, don't give out your phone numbers online.
No.
Yeah, Rafe did that the other day. Good God, man.
We wanted a way to communicate with the researchers behind the scenes in a private and a way that we can talk openly and respectfully and safely together.
I'm just Brittany.
You have to wait. So you have to do it through what? It's a site or like a?
My name is. I'm
no,
Brittany.
It's just a little private group we've got. Just.
Oh, okay. So what do I need? I have to have a WhatsApp or
join Telegram.
It's free.
Okay.
Is Telegram free too? Either one. But it says I'm Brittany on WhatsApp. That's cool.
Oh, hang on. I have to do it on my phone.
But it gives us a way to communicate behind the scenes and work with people just like ourselves without having to be public and do it in a respectful way. And it has been really good, I think. We have really enjoyed it. So
well, this has been amazing. So thank you for letting me come ask questions and talk to you, because I get anxiety watching videos because I want to ask questions, and it's sometimes, but you guys are making like the best. You do the best photo vids and dives into recent reset history. You two have some of the greatest stuff and viaduct theories. And today, Cambell had a short that was like about the apocalypse, but it wasn't gloom and doom. It was like, I'm like, this is going to new schools. It's like we're living in it. We're embracing it, and we don't have to be afraid of it. We need to move forward, and that's kind of what you're creating a space for that. So thank you both for doing that. It's awesome.
We have to let go of the gloom and doom. I mean, I started off prepping 15 years ago, and I quit prepping a long time ago, even though I have every prep you could think of, but I just don't do it anymore because I know that's not how you're going to get through this.
Yep, exactly. No. It's good to be prepared just in general, but it's not like you shouldn't spend your life preparing. Have bottled water. Just because sometimes it runs out, but it's to spend your life being worried and paranoid about it. Like we are the divine, as my friend keeps telling me to. It's like,
I'll give you an example. I bought a $700 Arctic weather sleeping bag because just in case. Okay.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Now,
okay, so I'm coming to your house after the next Super Vault because there's going to be like a year without a summer. So everybody go to where Beags is. because that blanket will save us. But
actually, no,
my
because
goodness.
Ryan Zim actually was doing. He was trying to get his Arctic expedition together, and I actually shipped
will
him
be doing
my
that.
sleeping bag as a donation to his.
oh my gosh,
trip.
really?
Boy, nice.
So
he
scratch that. We gotta find that guy.
That's
I'm
where
kidding.
the sleeping bag
I've got
is.
a whole range.
Biggs is not throwing aside, man.
I had an Arctic tent. I think it was about an $800 Arctic tent, and I sent him the sleeping bag and the tent in order to help out with his expedition. That was my donation to him, and it was a way I could help
find
him
out how
pay
he's
it forward.
doing. I haven't seen or heard of him in a couple of months since he got picked up by the cops.
Yeah. You know, I'm not saying that I believe he's going to make it, but you know, I had the ability to help him. He needed what I had, and I got it to him.
Good. He took the action, and he got pretty far. Like that last video, he's literally just riding his bike just in this tundra of this frozen tundra.
Right.
It's bizarre, man.
Yeah. Hey,
I wouldn't do it. God.
People, when I first started doing YouTube, people helped me out, and I'm trying to pay it forward the best I can with what I have. That's all we can do is try to help each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I need you all for new schools. And so
instead of putting $700 into this Arctic sleeping bag for the next investment, instead put $50 into materials for these crystal batteries we're doing with the Hutchinsons. And
do you need diamonds? Could you do something with the diamonds?
Batteries that it's like
diamonds.
Not only.
Well, see, Bernie, I bought those things back in 2008.
It's a while ago. We're talking past stuff, Bernie. We're doing he's helping me with my shadow work
today. That it's like it's both prepping, but it's also positive in that it's from the point that you build them, you forever have electricity powering each thing. Like
what I'm doing right now I'm building a 60-foot
you put your light up to
hoop garden.
Ooh, what's a hoop garden?
You can power the entire lights for your hoop garden forever with it. It will never run out. So it's like,
what do you need for your hoop garden?
For the apocalypse, it's like
the Hawaiian girl,
and it's free energy. That if the apocalypse does happen, you'll be the only garden with light in 10, 20 years from like the apocalypse. You know, you'll be going forever. Well, all of us that are making it, and my goal is to.
I want to make a hoop garden.
I've got a ridiculous amount of LED lights, but also Christmas lights, different party lights.
You know they don't grow hula hoops, right?
Shows and stuff over the years, and I'm gonna
get
them all set up in my yard, but all running off of these batteries, so that they'll be forever.
Bernie,
free.
But is a diamond better than what crystal? The diamond batteries? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the Hutchinson salt batteries.
Can you use a diamond though? I'm wondering. I have a diamond that I could use towards a battery making device. It would be cool. I don't know how to do it. I'm not a technician, but I want to join the technicians by asking
absolutely
what's the difference?
I want to talk about that.
All right.
And actually, Nancy
bookmark that question.
She does have some little tiny ones that big that maybe it is a diamond you can.
That she's done diamond experiments because that's like those 1,000-year batteries are the diamonds.
I did not ask that specifically before, and I have not heard her.
It's like it's graphene and diamonds or something.
But they have made several out of very expensive crystals that were different variants that lasted forever.
And the more expensive, the longer they last. I bet.
Not necessarily, but
no, not true.
Sometimes
only if you don't get ripped off by a dodgy trader.
Can you use the diamonds that they create then, the manufactured diamonds, or is it better to use does it have the same amount of energy as a actual organic diamond?
I could be wrong on this, but for I think the processes that they are using for them, utilizing that synthetic ones are actually better because they don't have any impurities. So for the process that's whatever it is that they do, it's actually more beneficial to have artificial made ones.
Are you friends with Brittany and Julia in WhatsApp, Bern?
I'm about to be now.
I just created
I
one.
can't find them.
We're friends in real life, Bernie. Dang it.
Exactly.
Say yes.
Julia,
When someone
we're
asks
already
you if we're friends, just say yes.
Hey,
And then
yes,
say, oh, you mean on the app. Okay.
we're Facebook friends official,
Are we?
and
Okay.
also Signal
Um,
friends official, and also maybe Twitter.
I just sent you the
YouTube,
link.
We are definitely.
I just WhatsApp you the link for the group. So if you want to Facebook it to Brittany and
Ooh,
apparently
Brittany,
Julia
I
doesn't
get,
want to
and
be a
Julia,
part of
I
that
guess
group
I
and
need
she's
your
deleted the app,
numbers
so
to
be
be.
us.
I already sent it
Keep
to you.
wisely.
Bernie
I
already
trust
sent you
you.
my information to send to him. Just so you know.
Not too many bathroom stalls.
Perfect. If only I could find my phone. I literally just had
And I'll
it.
pre-warn you, Paul Cook's on there, and he's funny. he'll
Hey man, I'm the
so.
funny one. Come on.
Yeah, I dig your humor. That's great. This is
Yeah. We'll try not to.
This is surreal.
I'm warning you
We're gonna have
because
to, like, clean
Paul
up our
got me
acting,
really
man.
good one day. He comes on. Do you remember this? He comes
I have
on.
no
and he's
idea what you're
drinking and
talking
stuff.
about, but Paul is in
Oh my
on
gosh,
his
okay,
way
Bernie.
right
You've
now
got the
about
idea
to
what we're
land in
talking about
Malta
there.
and do a live probably
Welcome,
be on
Bernie.
with him from Malta. And our goal, and the girls, they do their ladies night podcast. We're gonna set it up to do the next one after the Science of Sound. So that you can have Ominous back on, right? And you met
oh my gosh, the beatboxer.
Yeah.
I've been working on some stuff.
I bring this aspect up of our ultimate goal is to do both a live event in Malta eventually with all of us there with the alternative history stuff, but also Ominous's
send me the date.
Dream event.
Dancing in the stars.
Book my ticket.
Venue.
You should have Andreas synth too.
Not Haifa.
Does he play synth?
Dude, yeah, Andreas is synthing. So you should set a date and then he has to learn all the synth stuff. He can do a live synth setup.
Solfegium, whatever the underground one is.
God.
That amplifies the sound or whatnot in Malta. So we'll have to do an actual music show.
Oh, we could get the cymatic guy. The cymatic plasma guy could come and have a little. Oh my gosh, these are 100 followers, but he does these cymatic plasma experiments. Are the awesomest thing. I've jacked a couple on my channel. But when you get this going, that's my thing. Event planner.
We're looking at it.
I will help
towards the end of the year,
I will contact people.
We're all going to get there, and of course,
the end of 2023 is the Malta thing.
Yeah, that's kind of the projection.
Okay, please help. I am secretarian for a reason, Bernie. So if you need anybody to pawn off the beaver gun,
we need some fundraising events.
I will help fundraise. I can try and get some grants. I'm a good grant writer. If we're doing
something. This is
dude.
What? Can we get the government to pay for it? Let's do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It depends on how we do it. I can let me know.
It's a research dance party.
Paul lands in.
They'll be spinning. Beags, you're gonna come and we're gonna spin.
Global warming, man. They'll give us money.
I got to look that up. I don't want to tell you the wrong instructions how to do it.
Dang it! I was gonna do it right after the show. Julia's doing it now. I know. I've been ready. I need a reset.
You will have all far
properly. You'll get dizzy, and it won't.
I
won't
feel dizzy. Yeah,
but
we'll perform that.
Yeah, I know, right? My head is spinning.
Yeah. Oh, live in 30 minutes. My bad. He's already there. Paul Cook has already landed in Malta.
What? I thought we had till the end of the year.
He went without us.
I know. Well, you better get your ticket.
Of last year.
Jesus.
He's based
There's
out
another
of there,
one.
He's gonna start looking into all the permits, all the things, and then see if we can get advertising grants out of Malta, or at least get approved for it.
Well, let him know I'm ready to help if I can. And we were gonna do one in Alcatraz. We were gonna have a Tartary reunion. That was one of our plans for our Tartary convention. That was early on.
Well, we'll have to do that one.
But we'll do it somewhere else. That was early, but
you got to go to LA.
And just
New York,
out there, for any of
I'm the
the
best tour guide for LA.
YouTube creators that are working on research, the research creators only. If you're interested in being part of our group, hit Cambell up.
Yeah, no, they sent me their stuff right now. I'm just trying to figure out how to copy it over from.
I will be sending my top
WhatsApp
2
right now,
research bids that are for just nerds. Nobody will like them, but you might. Everybody I've shared it with is like, yeah. I'm just like, this is the most interesting video of all time. and nobody, I haven't been able to talk to anybody about this video, so maybe one of you will watch it. I sent it to Bernie too.
Well, we have we just started this in December, Cambell. I think
not long ago,
and we've got
small little group,
Paul Cook, Streets of Tartaria, Mind Unveiled, Stellum 7, Cambell, Bernie, me,
auto guy.
Yeah, all that.
It's like if there was such a thing as a Make-A-Wish for someone that's healthy,
it's
like
really a good resource for us.
What I would request.
And we support each other because we need that, because we go through a lot of crap too, as you know.
Yeah, Stellium's in it, and I believe Jordan's in the track group already too, same as
Stellium.
Exertus is there.
So on a recent Tartarians channel, you can see some behind the scenes footage of Stellium in Spain. I got to meet Stellium, and he's an awesome dude. So there's some spinning images too of Stellium. They did their own spinning on my shorts that I found out that were automatically uploaded as shorts when we were doing some Spain research. So check out the shorts on the recent Tartarians channel, and then tomorrow he'll be telling me to take it down. But for now, it's up. So
maybe I should make a video on how to spin. I'll have to go look at my notes.
Yes. Or do a live spinning, and once you know how to do it, that'd be great if you bring people in and just disclaim and say nothing I'm doing is safe. It's all at your own risk, and then we can.
The only problem with that is the only place that I can do it, I can't get service. It's down in.
Can you pre-record and then?
Well, I mean, I can record it and then upload it, but as for doing lives, like in the
live premiere,
do it. At my place because it's so open, and if I did it, people would be like, "Yeah, he gone pure crazy. Look at him! No, look at this shit. This some bitch. He out here spinning this."
Come
That's
on.
how I feel when you should see my workout I do in my street, like what people like their reaction to it. It's
I did yoga at the laundromat because I had to wash some big sheets that didn't fit, and I was like, "Screw this. Nobody's here. Who gives a shit?" Right? Sorry.
She's like, I thought you were crazy. It's like, well, I think people that are working out outside is crazy are crazy. Like that's, if spinning is definitely not crazy.
No, man.
Yeah, I'll have to do that.
They're gonna have a spinning exhibit at Malta when we go.
Ooh, can you imagine all of us spinning? Like,
there it is. Oh, don't watch that. I just do not watch that video.
The Stellium video?
No, go to shorts. That's in shorts. Don't look at all those. There's a lot on there.
We could just start up an exercise class and just call it a spin class.
Oh dear, you're gonna put it on here?
When they turn on.
Yeah, we'll play.
Are these
right
my
now.
shorts? Oh god, where is it?
There's a
no, that's Andreas.
Yes.
You got Andreas spinning.
Stellium's gonna kill me. This is not Stellium.
No, that's not Stellium.
By the way, he has actually what is it? What is it when you hang glided? He hang glided and scolded an eagle that dropped. Like he's scared an eagle hang gliding. So next time you talk to Stellium, ask him about his hang gliding eagle story. It is the greatest story.
Somebody told me to go check out Exertus a long time ago, and I thought, okay, he sounds interesting, and I went to check out his channel, and it just happened to be on Thanksgiving Day, and he's doing a live in New York City wearing a damn pilgrim hat, and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, this guy's a freaking nutter.
I think I filmed that, unless he was doing the selfie, but it was related to what we were talking about.
He was wearing like a hula shirt and a pilgrim hat. And
go to
first entrance.
Go to Facebook Messenger. Go to Facebook Messenger. Go to Tenor and hit
Oh, he's a
Exodus
top fishing,
TGIF,
isn't he?
and you'll see his
sadly
dancing
don't
on
have
the streets.
Facebook on this laptop.
Okay,
yet.
well,
It's
if you
my
have
new
Tenor,
laptop.
you can search the GIFs, the GIFs I
don't.
have of
I don't know
Exodus.
that. I
But
need
his
to do
Friday
this.
dance is great.
But then
That was
through
at
the years,
Victor's
I learned
house.
that he was actually really
The
stupid.
next one, I guess.
And that was Victor Buggies. We went and visited Victor. Yeah, he had it was an amazing experience.
And
Yes,
13th Monkey
the
as well,
the
right?
documentary is to come, but we have a bunch of footage from Spain that we were going to follow up with a road tour and talking to people and doing Tartary like street footage in the United States after Spain. And so the whole Spain thing has been put on hold since like 2019 now, because COVID came when we were going to do.
Just hit up Spain with Stellium after we're all in Malta. And,
there's the
too for you guys with Stellium over there.
Broke into the old NASA place where they had like satellites too. I think that's one of the shorts. It's called Charlie Sheen, but there's an actual video of it, and I don't know why it's called Charlie Sheen. But we went and there was these and they're all over the world. These old NASA, not that one. These are lame. Sorry, everybody. And I haven't even checked the audio on these. The streets of Spain, but they're the one that's an old fountain. But the get to the one that has like the NASA stuff. It was crazy. We were gonna try to go to a water park and we broke into this.
It is.
It said, just wait, you'll see it. It looks like you'll see. Scroll down. It literally looks like right there. Yeah.
Charlie Sheen. Yeah.
But there's a whole video on that somewhere that I can share. That was interesting. I don't know. I didn't make any shorts. It must have taken my videos and done automatic short videos of it. And this place is all locked off, and we went in there and filmed a bunch of the crazy stuff they had. It was nuts.
Do you use Wondersoft, like Filmora, to edit? Sorry,
these are from before I even did editing. I don't even remember uploading these until I went
and now, when you like finish, export a video, it cuts you a little 1 minute like clip of it. It doesn't make sense because it's random, but
these made shorts, and I never made a short, so I don't know if it took some videos I had. We were driving to go to 2 parts of Spain, and Stellium came and picked us up, and on the way, every time we saw like a castle or volcano or mountain, we just kind of pulled over and got tons of footage, and Andreas went live, and then I got like the behind the footage scenes of those two filming for their channels, and it was just incredible. Really,
we are got to do that all over again. Only it's going to be all 10 of us and going live on all 10 of the
for sure. You can ask him about. We stayed at like a murder mansion. It was. We avoided our doom as well. We had an Airbnb, and there's a funny story with that Stellium could maybe tell you. He refused to go into this Airbnb because they had picture. It was a death trap. They had white sheets, and it was like everything had not whatever, like plastic stuff over it, and there was all these images. There's a fake library that had pictures of books, and then all these images were like there was a woman with a baby in spaghetti and whatnot, and we took some pictures of it, but Stellium refused to go in, and we ended up like literally having to like bolt out of there in a hurry, and it was one of the scariest things. Andreas was cool with it. Stellium has a different interpretation, but you'll have to ask him about their stay at the murder mansion in Spain.
I did a stunt back before I woke up, running around with ghost hunters, and we actually
with Stellium.
No. This was before I woke up, and we used to go to like asylums and things like that to do investigations.
Oh, cool.
D wants
you have to share those too on the Titans. Or on the Titans, on the Telegram. I'm seeing Titans. D wants to do what?
D wants to go like she wants us to go to like haunted places.
I'm down with that. We got Charlie's Machine on Real Science. Sure. Charlie C making not Tesla, the other guy, Edison's Ghosts communication device that's the trans communicator. Were you there for any of those, Brittany or Julia or Cambell?
No. Whoa. Wait now.
anyways, Charlie C, one of the big techs, along with Jeremiah, he's made what's this one paranormal
I
group.
did see that. No, I did catch that. Yeah.
You did? Okay, you caught that one.
Was I there?
Yeah, that was fascinating. Yeah.
It's the device that you can communicate to the other side, and it was like the design was communicated from the other side, supposedly from Thomas Edison, and he's built a couple of them, replicated.
Was he there?
That's like those spirit boxes, you know.
Are you talking to Eddie himself?
EVPs. Have y'all done
that? Takes those photos.
Eddie, are you there? Is this your device? Like you're directly communicating with like Edison on the other side, or what?
No.
What do you call those spirit boxes? The ones with the faces? Because I feel like
other side, like death
mediums, or like when you're going, like usually it's like your relatives that come up first, and then
what? Isn't that what Ouija boards do? But they're kind like demonic or not?
Yeah,
just be similar frequencies or whatever, but. There's heaps of photos, from the 1880s, 1900.
Oh, the ones that the image where it shows. Oh, yeah. I've seen that. Okay, gotcha.
Those.
Now I get it. Now I know.
What do they call those, Bernie? The ones with where it's like like electrical and it looks steampunky and you see the faces.
So berserker bushwhacking.
I've actually done a video on that. Those are modern photographs.
They're fakes, right? They're not actually
fakes.
real.
They're done by an artist, a modern artist. I actually have a short on my channel that shows these pictures, but I can't remember the guy's name, but it's on the video. And the reason I put the guy's name on the video is because I wanted people to go research the guy's name. And when you look into the guy's name, the photos are clearly modern, not fakes. He takes.
However, I feel like it could have existed. Like a technology like that doesn't seem so far away or so far fetched. Almost, even if they had a screen at that time, it seems like
could
you know. But I don't.
Fascinating, some of them. With like all of
and there's heaps of Photoshop.
The real stuff is
exoplasm. People holding their heads and stuff, and
ectoplasm is a real thing that they always find and has been scientifically documented many times.
How about you pull that video up instead of this, dude? Jeez Louise. This is a helical. We were talking helical heart, but it's like, I don't know.
Here, I'll show. I'll show.
Sorry, Bernie, not to be a dick. But I'm like, wait, that's not it.
It was like we had a really late night the night before.
Every show.
I think, you guys were on with us all night. Then I was.
And then Stellium's like, I can go at whatever time it is in Spain. The latest he could go is like 10. I'm like, great. That's 1 p.m. here. Oh, cool. Yeah, those are. You can tell. Some of those are just modern photos, right?
Oh, these ones are all you can see.
Yeah.
Those were not the ones I was referring. Yeah.
They were done by Edward Bateman.
This is definitely
But I did find something on how easy it was to take photographs before we have actual photography in the narrative. I remember UAP did a video that I joined. This is like 4 years ago, and he asked, he's like, show me what it's called, and I like left the stream and I was like searching everything I had.
The same one, sorry,
because they have older photographs.
It's almost like by design, though, too. All of a sudden, Reface is released right after like Q stuff comes out of like saying there's footage that's going to be released of a lot of powerful people doing a lot of terrible things.
Yeah, kind
of. And then with this, like, with all this being revealed of Antiquitech, the AI already generated of like, now you're not going to be able to differentiate. I think George Bush Sr. is the one that said when they don't know, like a goal, when the American people don't know the difference between what's real, what's true and not true, then we've done our job. We've done our. It's like a goal to be like, when they can't differentiate what is real, what is not real, what's the truth, what's lies, like, that's like a literal goal.
And on the journey you get there and you like almost give up, and then thank goodness we're still here and we're able to have conversations, because a lot of times it's like, oh, I can't do it anymore. You'll spend days researching something and come up with nobody that's going to listen to you, and you can become really isolated. So it's really good that you're having these chats.
That's when you just make a YouTube channel and just speak crap all the time.
Yeah, well, and it's good that you did.
I'm just telling him anyway.
I couldn't do it because I didn't have a title. So tonight I still have to, after this, I have to make my first video, my pre-made video on Von Reichenbach. Like,
you're doing it.
I'm doing it.
You're done.
Yeah, man.
I have to.
Yeah,
just because I need you, everyone. I need everybody else to help me understand his work. So.
Oh yeah, there's things that I'm incredibly advanced in, and like really hard to do things. I'm incredibly like, oh, that's easy to me. Like, oh, you remote view, like yeah. But then the really simple, like easy to digest things, I'm like totally retarded, and I mean retarded.
Mad.
Retarded.
Talking numbers to me, and I don't want to hear the math.
Tartar. Oh, what was it? It was so good.
Retarded.
Tartaretech is coming tomorrow.
Tartaretech, that's a cool name.
Doing, yeah, I thought so. That's why I finally can make my video.
That's awesome, yeah.
Tartaretech. I'm like, rediscover. Should it be rediscovering or recreating? Because I'm going to tie it into, I'm tying it into real science. So it's like either rediscovering or recreating, because it's already been here. Everything's already been here. And these people, these scientists that tried to rediscover it after the reset, they have been suppressed. So I'm covering the suppressed rediscoverers of the Tartaretech.
Unveiling.
Oh, unveiling Tartaretech. Am I stealing it from Stellium? Unveiling a Titan? I gotta ask.
I think
Stellium.
They're still using the free energy. I think they're harnessing the free
energy,
selling it
exposing.
Back to our electrical.
But I'm not exposing it because you guys are recreating it. You're a real science group like Jeremiah. They're and that's what von Reichenbach was trying to say with his vital forces is like, here's how we do this. But he's not necessarily giving credit to the Tartarian, Tartaretech, whatever you want to call it, Antiquotech, things that existed before, all this crazy stuff. He's saying, he's discovering this. I also think it's already existed before. He's maybe putting it in a different way. So I'm just trying to tie all that in. So it is kind of a rediscovery, but it's also like your groups are recreating, right? And I don't know the right word.
All the alchemy stuff I do, I never try to say that like I'm discovered it. I say I'm rediscovering.
It's interesting.
Rediscovering alchemy because it's
remembering
higher lost stuff.
Remembering Tartaretech.
All right, now I can't do it. I don't have a title anymore. I'm done.
Remembering is good because remembering means to put back together.
All right.
Hey, Bernie, did you ever look into the Terrence Howard research that I was pointing you towards?
That's the look of it.
Which one was that again?
He's building free energy system.
No, not for that. I opened up the Oregon one that you sent me the other day and started watching that again.
That's the one that Brittany was asking for me to post the link to.
Okay.
If you know where that is, post the link in the group chat.
I'll do in the group chat. I'll do it.
I'll share that microbiologist that's like validating Reich to people. So he has a little bit just nuggets that you can use. You can put in your back pocket to say, actually, Reich wasn't this sex maniac. It was these two people that wrote that to the. There's so much information that this guy got on the smear campaign. It's awesome. Because I didn't know that. I'm like, I know he's been smeared.
That was legit back in the day with like paradigm shifting, like technology breakthrough. They just absolutely destroyed.
But I mean, they're gaslighters, right? They try and make everyone look like they know. It's the stuff they do that they know is terrible, right? All this.
Yeah, they project their satanic.
I mean, most people here, Reich wanted to have sex with his mom and was a pedophile. And then they're like, I don't. And for me, when I heard that at first, because I found him through LRH before I knew LRH was involved in Scientology, because he was doing light studies on complete clouds. He did studies on plant growth and electrometer readings in certain lights in Essex or wherever he was, and it was completely clouded and there was no sun, and he was able to grow plants. And I found that, and I was like, who is this Lafayette Ronald Hubbard man? And I had no idea he was connected to Scientology. And then through that, I found Reich connected to him, and I found I was looking for Cord Meyer to see if he had been connected to Wilhelm Reich, at all, because he is the Mockingbird. I'm trying to debunk anybody that's been hired by, Operation Mockingbird or CIA. And that's when I found an awesome picture of Cord Meyer with Einstein. So the lead agent of Operation Mockingbird is sitting with Albert Einstein. And I'm like, why in the flip did that? What was that conversation about? And it was in a magazine. So anyway, that's just kind of my background on studying LRH's science before Scientology, and his work before it kind of got all smeared into what it is today. But there are connections, right?
Again, to what I was telling you is Terrence Howard is designing free energy systems based on the flower of life. And Terrence Howard is the person as the actor Terrence Howard, who was on the television show Empire. He actually quit Hollywood to work on his research on the flower of life. And they made him look like a cuckoo clock, but if you actually go and look in his research, it's actually very interesting. It's hard to find, very hard to find.
Yeah, that's what they do, man. They bury it. Well, I think I've been on here for about... I think I'm pushing 5 hours, man. How did that
got to work in the morning, so we're going to cut it off here.
I think we should, yeah. So it's been fun and nice to talk to you, Brittany and Julia, finally.
Yes.
And Bernie's on the phone, ignoring us.
Thank you for having us so much.
Hello, sorry about that. Love all of you, and yes, we're all in the group chat now.
I've added you both to the group so we can... So, you can't escape.
And this right here, quickly showing, this was Matthew Rife and his partner Hunter. They made this video yesterday, their second time taking a drone up with, this was with one of their star coils, but copper wire attached, and actually harnessing atmospheric electricity, improving the actual free energy Antiquitech principle. And one step at a time. We're doing it in the real science.
Nice.
And we'll have Ollie back for the next one.
All righty.
Well, I really appreciate you all hanging out tonight. This has been the first mud flood flash mob. I don't know if that'll be what it's called in the future. It was just kind of what I threw up there.
Just flash mob.
Flash mob.
I don't know. Old world flash mob. I don't know. But the idea is that we just get together and throw everything at the wall and see what sticks.
Nipple.
And everybody has a voice, and we can have a good time. Cool. And I think people will enjoy this. And any of you guys can start one of these from the group and just let us know in the group chat that you're going to do it. And if we're available, we will come and join you. So that's the idea behind it. But I really appreciate it. Everyone in the chat and every one of the guests. And it was nice meeting you ladies. Welcome to the Old World Research Group that we've got going. We're very happy to be together as a group.
It's a dream come true. I never, ever thought I would be sitting on a panel with these people. I watch your shows. I'm a fan. I can't believe I've held it together.
There's nothing special about us.
I talk a lot. I'm sorry, but I get nervous.
You have great energy, by the way.
Great. You're both
you've
done really amazing, and
not everybody likes.
I also watch your shows.
I can literally feel your energy through the screen.
Oh my god! Well, I get a lot of negative feedback, so it's very nice to get that.
Yeah, any positive thing you guys tell.
I like your t-shirt, by the way. I only just worked out that there were eyes sort of halfway through, and it's a sad face. Rainbow Lives Matter.
Oh, this.
I know what
it was feeling too. Yeah. It's that kind of. I guess it's an ironic.
It's a sad rainbow.
It's not really sad. Maybe it's about me and all the negative comments. Like I did like Timcast, and the comments were like, "Who's that 90-year-old meth head?" That I'm like, I used to coach. My voice is raspy. The 99-year-old mother of everybody and all these young kids, and it was just everything was like this old lady. It was funny. I laughed. I was like, thank you. Oh, with what age comes wisdom. Maybe that's what they meant.
Your young ladies,
Exactly.
and
no,
don't worry. Half the people, half the comments when I first appear on a channel are like, "Who is this meth head drinking piss and making meth in those bottles?"
Whatever. You have crazy stuff though. Your experiments are nuts. Some of them. And Jeremiah, so the Reich stuff, so you'll like this too, Beags. Jeremiah had an experiment where he took, dead plants and got them coils to grow root structures. Cool. And I'm like, that's like Reich's tech. That's what brought up the video again.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
Nuts. Yeah, cool stuff. So you're changing the world. You're the prime movers, and it's cool to just be a part of your world and connect and get schools going. That's my mission. So I'm collecting stuff, and we'll figure out how to cater it to younger, and there'll be people that have like a niche for like this, K through 5th grade, and there might be middle school level content, and then a lot of stuff you're doing is like high school and post-secondary, which we can also have in new schools, and the charter homeschool collaboratives, which is the dream. So, and Malta, we're doing it.
Dude, so. You guys, this better happen. That's all I have to say. This better happen.
Yeah, that's really cool.
We can travel again. People can fly. So we're definitely down.
Puppy dog.
I'll mark the date once it's set.
Well, this is Malta. Podcast is starting in 2 minutes, so I'll see.
It's clearly not a beagle.
I named my channel after my beagle. I had a beagle named Orwell, and he passed away last year. But
so new Beags. Aww. Much blessings. All right. Well, you can join us when we talk about nuclear and powered volcanoes and whatnot next time. All right.
He loves it all.
All right, sweet.
All right, love you guys.
Yeah,
right,
much love.
Guys.
Peace.
Thanks. See you all.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
We will do this again soon, and
I can't wait. Thank you so much for having me. Oh my
Thanks
god.
for having us on, Beags.
Wow, thank you, Beags. Incredible.
See you soon. See you in the chats.
Can't wait.
Exactly.
Say woof again! Say woof again!
I've got one that can see.
It's a mystery! It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma! Don't you get it?
Welcome to the underground.
This is my kung fu, and it is strong.
See you later.